NHL Network Radio on Channel 91. Lyons was on to talk with Steve Kouleas from the Power Play. About his initial reaction to the news of New York offering Sakic $15 million up front in their deal.
I remember the summer of 1997, the Rangers have offer sheeted Joe Sakic. Gave me this look like, wow, who'd have thunk? And then, what are you going to do? What's your plan, big guy? Because that's a lot of money. 30 years ago, that kind of contract was destabilizing, to say the least. And also, Dave Checkins has done his homework, right? That they had been smart enough to, because we were publicly traded and we were a young company, he looked at the balance sheet and said, "Hey, look how much money they have in the bank. So we offer $1 more. It's going to knock their company on their ear. They're going to have to take 5 picks." So, given that he had Richter and he had, the greatest player of all time, Wayne Gretzky, and by the way, Joe Sakic's idol, that was going to be a powerful team. And having just lost Messier, he needed to do something. And so he did the right thing. He said, what the heck? There's a chance they aren't going to be able to pull it off. And at least I'm making an effort. And so I felt pretty beat up, candidly.
On the court and off, your home for the NBA is SiriusXM. Follow all the drama as your favorite team vies for it all. SiriusXM NBA Radio, SiriusXM 86.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on SiriusXM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on SiriusXM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on SiriusXM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on SiriusXM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates.
SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 brings you expert analysis from former players, coaches, and executives, plus reaction to all the latest news on the only 24/7 station dedicated to the National Football League.
Mark Messier is a 6-time Stanley Cup champion. He won 5 with the Edmonton Oilers and 1 with the New York Rangers, and is the only player to captain 2 teams to Stanley Cup championships. In Edmonton, after winning back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in 1984 and 85, it wasn't until 1987 where the team would win their third Stanley Cup championship. Speaking on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Messier joined Scott Laughlin for the morning skate on Sirius XM Channel 91 to talk about what it was like to win that 1987 Stanley Cup Finals series against the Philadelphia Flyers, despite blowing a 3-1 series lead and having to win it in a Game 7.
Mark, let's go back to the 1987 Canada Cup. That was still to come.
That was a good Canada Cup.
That was a Game 7, but that was an all-decider as well, as we know. But for Game 7... that was pretty good stuff. But 87 in the Stanley Cup final, you're facing Philadelphia. You're up 3-1 in the series. They come back to tie it. Now you've got Game 7. Take us back to your greatest remembrances of, again, almost letting the series slip away and then having that opportunity in Game 7 to come up big, which you guys clearly did.
Well, it just goes to show you that we felt back in 87, we were really at the peak of that team in some ways. Some people think 85 team was the best team ever. 87, I think, was probably the most talented team. I think 85 team had a better overall record. I think it was 16-1 or 16-2 in that playoff year. 87, we got tangled up against Philadelphia, but we felt we're a better team. But sports isn't about who's a better team. It's about the belief system inside the dressing room. And Philadelphia wouldn't quit. Mike Keenan wouldn't allow the young Philadelphia team to quit. They were kind of banged up. They had some injuries, but they were able to extend the series after what we thought probably should have been maybe at least 4 or 5 game series. We lost, I think, the first game, if I remember correctly, and then came back and won 3 in a row, coming home to win the 5th game, only to realize that winning a championship, even after all the experience we had, is not that easy. And then going back to Philadelphia for Game 6, and they trounced us in Philly. Now we find ourselves in a Game 7, and then once you get to a Game 7, anything can happen. You can get a bad break, an unlucky bounce, as we've seen in the past, and so everything's at stake, everything's on the line, and I think luckily for us, we're able to, really kind of rely on our experiences that we had in the past. We felt incredibly confident that if we went out and played our best game, and Philadelphia went out and played their best game, our best was going to be good enough. But even with that, there was so much uncertainty, and sure enough, we're able to win our third cup in 4 years, which was quite an incredible feat.
That was Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers, Mark Messier, on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin on Channel 91.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on Sirius XM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on Sirius XM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on Sirius XM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on Sirius XM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates.
Hear it all on demand. Your favorite shows, your favorite games. Don't miss a second of your favorite SiriusXM programming on demand with the SiriusXM app. Download it now for free.
New York Rangers legend and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Channel 91, to share what it was like to play in the 1994 finals with the New York Rangers, as well as ending the 54-year drought for the franchise and how that team represented what a hockey team is all about.
Well, look, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about 1994 as well. You mentioned Mike Keenan. We spoke with him in studio a couple of weeks ago. He still speaks so highly of you and of that run. So take us back to ending the 54-year drought. In Game 7, you get a power play goal. You shovel a puck underneath of Kirk McLean. Stands up as the game winner, as it turns out. So take us back to that hot, steamy night. What was it, June 14th of 1994 at the Garden in New York?
Just, I guess just starting, going to the rink, trying to keep your same routine. Brian Leach and I would always drive together down through Times Square, down Broadway 7th Avenue to take a right-hand turn on 33rd Street. And you could feel things were different, even from the Upper West Side. Just the vibe and the energy of the whole city was just electrified. Getting down towards Madison Square Garden, seeing the crowd already starting to build, the police officers surrounding the Garden. It was a carnival-like atmosphere. Obviously, we knew we were something on the cusp of doing something that hadn't been done in 54 years. The magnitude of it was palpable. I mean, the energy, just everything just seemed to be so electrified. You try to keep yourself in the moment. You try to stay with your routine. Obviously, there's a much more at stake. And then, we found ourselves much like we did in 87, up 3-1 in the series, losing to fifth game, where it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that New York Rangers were finally going to win a Stanley Cup after 54 years. Only to find ourselves the party atmosphere got a little bit delayed and then had to go back to Vancouver, which again, we got trounced in Vancouver, just like we did in 87. And now we're coming home for Game 7. And the same thing happened. It just, we felt good about our chances. We felt we were a better team than Vancouver. We felt that we should have wrapped up the series earlier against Vancouver, but that's the greatest thing about sports. You can think all you want, but the reality is they got a heartbeat over there too. They got pride over there too. They're there for a reason because they're a great team. And here we are in Game 7 and happen to go out and execute a great game plan to beat a very hungry, very young, very physical, hard team to play against in Vancouver. And luckily for us, we had a lot of experience. We had a dynamic, incredible amount of talent with Brian Leach and Sergei Zubov. Alex Kovalev, Adam Graves, and Mike Richter and net, and then sprinkled in with some veterans, some hardened veterans with McTavish and Tikkanen and Steve Larmer and Noonan and Mateau and Jeff Bukaboom and Jay Wells and all the amazing players that banded together that year to create maybe not the most skilled team that's ever won a Stanley Cup, but if you look up the word team, they could put the 1994 Ranger team right there, and that year, that team epitomizes what a team is all about.
The PGA Tour comes to life on SiriusXM. It's your destination for everything on the tour. Hear live hole-by-hole coverage and expert analysis. PGA Tour Radio, SiriusXM 92.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on SiriusXM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on SiriusXM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on SiriusXM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL playoffs, 8 p.m., Carolina Hurricanes take on the Florida Panthers. Hurricanes on SiriusXM channels 91, Panthers on Internet 931. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it locked on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, channel 91. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM NHL schedule for Tuesday, May the 20th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates.
SiriusXM has soccer covered end to end. SiriusXM FC. Hear live play-by-play and talk shows hosted by legends of the game. It's SiriusXM FC on Channel 157.
Six-time Stanley Cup champion and Hockey Hall of Famer Mark Messier stopped by SiriusXM NHL Network Radio's The Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin to discuss what Game 7 means to him and what it's like to also lose a Game 7.
Well, when you think about the two greatest words in sports, you think about Game 7 for many reasons. Obviously, to get to a Game 7, both teams obviously very evenly matched from the literal sense, the Game 7. You don't have to be a sport fan to understand that something's big at stake and that you will go watch it, even if you don't know the teams, you don't know the players, you know the backdrop, because it's the greatest form of reality TV in the world, because there is going to be a winner and a loser. A lot at stake, obviously. But for me personally, it's a lifetime journey to acquire the skill set that's required to be able to perform when the stakes are the highest, under the most scrutinized pressure, when you're expected to perform. And you think about a Game 7 moment or a Game 7, that's when you have to perform. It's a winner or go home situation. And what are the skill sets that are required to do that? Obviously, we've practiced our game and honed our skill set for years and years and years, tens of thousands of hours of honing our skills. But emotionally, mentally, what prepares you to play in those moments and perform when you're expected to? That, I think, is what really defines a Game 7 moment for the players that have excelled in Game 7 moments. And what are those life lessons that we can teach our young boys and girls, and the skill sets required to do that? The breathing, it's being able to slow your heart down, and your blood pressure goes up, and your decision making is rash, and concentration varies because of all of it. What allows you to kind of really slow down and use your God-given talent, and then obviously the repetitions through your whole life that you know you can do it. You just got to be able to do it when it matters most. It's like hitting a home run, and like Aaron Boone did, or doing something special at the right moments. And I think the educational part of the docuseries is really fascinating to me there, to help our young boys and girls who will be faced with big decisions in their life. And you don't have to be a sport fan to have a Game 7 moment in life. Everybody's faced with decisions that are going to alter the trajectory of their lives in one way or another there. And we're trying to figure out what those skill sets are.
What does it feel like to lose a Game 7?
Fortunately for me, I never experienced what the Oilers did last year, of going all the way to the end in a championship game and losing in a Game 7. Anytime you get to a Game 7, it's a hard journey to get there. Two teams, evenly matched. It's been a war. It's been a tug of war. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's tired. And then to lose that is devastating. I think about my own experience in Game 7, winning 7 of them. The 2 still hurt to this day. What could I have done different? You always say that you got to lose in order to understand how to win. I do agree with that. I think there are lessons in loss and in failure, both as a team and as an individual. If I had my preference, I would have liked to have learned those lessons while I was winning. But unfortunately, that's just not the way it is. But I look back at it now and just think about how grateful I am for all the lessons in wins and the losses, because it really ends up defining who you are as a person and as a player.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91.
I'm Frank Track.
The Fan.
Carolina Hurricanes hockey is presented by Lenovo and is brought to you by Pepsi, Kinetico, Spectrum, UNC Health, Vector Security, North Carolina Education Lottery, Harris Teeter, Kia, and Cardinal Apparel. You're listening to the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
8 wins down, 8 more to go. The Carolina Hurricanes have brought their brand of boring hockey back to the third round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, also known as the Eastern Conference Finals. Standing in their way, the defending champions. Doesn't get any better than this. Hi, everyone. I am Adam Gold, and tonight, the Canes sit just halfway to completing the quest for the Stanley Cup. But just like climbing Everest or some other accomplishment like that, toughest parts of the journey lie ahead. And there probably isn't a tougher opponent than the defending champion Florida Panthers, who have what the Hurricanes want. And the second half of this journey begins tonight in what will be a raucous Lenovo Center. If it seems like we have been here before, well, that's because we have. 2 years ago, in this very building, the Panthers, who qualified as Wild Card 2 for the Eastern Conference playoffs that year, but upset the record-setting Bruins in the opening round, showed up to Raleigh on a roll. After rallying from a 3-1 series deficit to dispatch Boston, the Panthers took out the Maple Leafs in 5. Meanwhile, Carolina advanced through the Islanders and Devils in a combined 11 games, and they looked like a team to be reckoned with, having the home ice advantage. But 4 one-goal games, 4 overtimes in Game 1, another one in Game 2, a 1-0 game in Game 3, then a tie game until 5 seconds left when Matthew Tkachuk's power play goal ended the Hurricanes season, and it was a sweep on the board. Bottom line, the biggest difference in that series was that the Panthers' best players produced. Tkachuk scored 4 of Florida's 10 goals, 3 of those on the power play. Alexander Barkov scored twice. Sam Reinhart, Carter Verhaeghe each potted 1, meaning the top 4 goal scorers for the Panthers that season hit the score sheet. Meanwhile, the Hurricanes got a combined 2 goals from their top guys. Aho, Natchez, Teravainen, Jarvis, Kokoniemi, who had 18 goals that season. And Andrei Svechnikov didn't play in that series because he was out with a torn ACL. If this series is to end differently, Carolina's best players will have to put some points on the board. Svechnikov has more than done his part. He scored 8 times in the playoffs so far, 7 of them coming at even strength. But while Sebastian Aho has played very well through 10 games, 10 points, the season-ending goal to usher out the Devils, almost 55% of the faceoff circle, and a +4. He didn't score a goal in the series with Washington, and it's hard to imagine the Canes advancing without Aho as an offensive catalyst. With that said, there are a lot of ways these Hurricanes can win a game and thus a series. Frederik Andersen has been stellar. Svechnikov, depth, goaltending, special teams have the current Hurricanes back in the conference finals. And we'll be back with lineups and more after these words from your local stations on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
With over 200 stores to shop, where can you find everything you're looking for all in one place? Crabtree, the go-to premier shopping and dining destination in the Southeast. Shop Allen Edmonds, Altered State, Banana Republic, Brahmin, Brooks Brothers, Chubby's, Coach, H&M, Lego, Lululemon, Michael Kors, Tag Heuer, Tommy Bahama, and so many more. Shop your favorites, discover something new, then relax and dine. All at one convenient destination. Crabtree.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. The owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Enjoying the game? Hempy's can help. Hempy's is North Carolina's favorite hemp and CBD shop, and as long as you order before 9 p.m., local same-day delivery is absolutely free. Hempy's products are made with clean, natural ingredients, and each product is lab-tested to ensure quality and safety. Visit hempys.co to check out the inventory. And remember, orders placed before 9 p.m. get free same-day delivery. Or you can always stop by one of their 8 locations in North Carolina. Must be 21 or older to order. That's hempys.co.
Adam going back inside Lenovo Center. Canes, Panthers, Eastern Conference Finals, Game 1 straight ahead. These two teams shockingly alike. Regular season saw the Hurricanes better offensively. 3.24 goals per game. Florida had 3. Goals against, essentially the same. Panthers a slight edge there. Florida with the edge on the power play. Carolina the best penalty-killing team in the land. Two of the best teams in terms of shorthanded goals. Panthers 12, Carolina 10. In the possession numbers, these were the two best teams in the NHL. In both Corsi for shot attempt percentage and high danger scoring chance percentage. Essentially, we've got the Spider-Man meme series in the playoffs. Also, very similar. Florida's been scoring a bunch of goals, but they scored 6 in Game 5 and Game 7 against Toronto on the road. Carolina, 3.4, so it's basically a wash. They're both plus 16 in goal differential. Hurricanes and Panthers have the top 2 penalty kills in the game. Carolina at 28% of the power play, better than Florida's 20%. But honestly, we're talking about a very small sample size. All right, let's get to injuries and scratches. Brought to you by UNC Health, official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes. Jalen Chatfield, undisclosed injury, will not play, and that means Scott Morrow will draw in. Forwards Mark Jankowski, Tyson Jost, as well as defenseman Alexander Nikishin among a long list of healthy extras. Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, Andrei Svechnikov leads everybody out. Svechnikov, 8 playoff goals, 1 short of a guy named Rantanen who plays in it for a different team. I'm not sure which one. Jordan Stahl, Jordan Martinook, and William Carrier. Jack Roslovic, Taylor Hall, and Logan Stankoven. 3 playoff goals, all have come in Game 1s. How about that? Jesperi Kotkaniemi in between Eric Robinson and Jackson Blake. On the back end, it'll be Jacob Slavin and Brent Burns, Dmitry Orlov, and Sean Walker who draws in, or bumps up in the lineup, and Shane Gostisbehere will play with Scott Morrow making his playoff debut. Frederick Anderson, 7-2 in the playoffs, 137 goals against, and a .937 save percentage. He has been spectacular, but it'll be Sergei Bobrovsky at the other end of the rink. Only a .975 save percentage in the 4-game sweep of the Hurricanes 2 years ago. The building is loud. Carolina can't be afraid to go out and attack and win the first period and get ahead of this game. Not that Game 1 matters all that much, but here's where it does. Hurricanes have not won an Eastern Conference Finals game since 2006, and you want that narrative to go away. A Game 1 win is how you do it. Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy, they will have the call. Canes, Panthers, Game 1, Eastern Conference Finals. After these words from your local stations on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
It's the first day of the first grade. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Bluebell Groom's Cake Ice Cream is renewing its vows on the frozen aisle. Milk chocolate ice cream with chocolate cake pieces, chocolate-coated strawberry hearts, swirls of strawberry sauce, and chocolate icing. See you at the reception.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at your favorite grocer. If you can't find it, be sure to ask for it.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington is taking the hassle out of getting the best price on your new 2025 Ram 1500 with employee pricing for everyone. And along with employee pricing, you could get 3.9% for 72 months too. See dealer for details. With John Heister having the largest inventory and the best selection in the Raleigh area, you're sure to find the one with your name on it. So get off your keister and come to Heister to get in on employee pricing. John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
From Carolina winters to our very sunny summers, as America's exterior remodeler, Window World is here to keep families across the Triangle comfortable year-round. If you need new windows, siding, doors, and more, look no further than your locally owned Window World, the Triangle's most trusted and America's largest exterior remodeler. A proud sponsor of the Canes, Window World will get your home looking great on the outside while saving on energy costs inside. Get in touch with them today and request a free quote. Window World of Raleigh and Fayetteville. Improving homes, changing lives.
With over 200 stores to shop, where can you find everything you're looking for all in one place? Crabtree, the go-to premier shopping and dining destination in the Southeast. Shop Allen Edmonds, Altered State, Banana Republic, Brahmin, Brooks Brothers, Chubby's, Coach, H&M, Lego, Lululemon, Michael Kors, Tag Heuer, Tommy Bahama, and so many more. Shop your favorites, discover something new, then relax and dine. All at one convenient destination. Crabtree.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Hello, everyone, and welcome inside Lenovo Center alongside Trip Tracy. Mike Maniscalco here on your Hurricanes Radio Network. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Hurricanes with a home ice advantage against the Florida Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champions. And Trip, this game, I know it's 1 of 7. We'll see how many we'll get, but I just get the feeling this might set the tone for the series.
I feel like with Carolina's Eastern Conference final history, they've gotten over so many humps in the first 2 rounds of this Stanley Cup playoff, Mike. They got to get over the hump of getting a win early in an Eastern Conference final. You're playing against a team that played a Game 7 in Toronto 2 nights ago. You need a good start in this game and in this series.
It'll be Frederik Andersen going for Carolina, Sergei Bobrovsky for Florida. And here we go. The opening draw. Florida sends it all the way down on Frederik Andersen. He'll boot that one away in a hand pass. We'll get a whistle here just 9 seconds into this Eastern Conference final.
Carolina, of course, has last changed the games here in Raleigh. Will this matchup be what it is? Because Lundell, Laruskarainen, and Brad Marchand has arguably been Florida's best line. Certainly has been so on the road.
Yeah, they were the best line for Florida against Toronto. Speaking of the road, this is the battle of something's got to give. Is Carolina 5-0 at home this postseason. Florida, the best road record, 5-2 away from Sunrise, as the Canes now will skate out with the puck. Orlov across center ice into the Florida zone. He'll dump this one around the boards. Waiting to make a play on it, Stankoven. It'll work its way back. Scott Morrow making his NHL postseason debut. Shot right on. Bobrovsky makes the save. Rebound to the corner board. Stankoven loses his stick. Takes the body. Carolina trying to keep the puck in. Good play by Hall, but this will be elevated by Lundell to the Canes' blue line.
Stankoven got a piece of that shot from Walker. Bobrovsky, a challenging stop early. Can Stankoven get to the inside?
Now Carrier with a monstrous hit as he lays out Kulikov along the boards. Stahl follows suit. Bouncing puck, though, controlled by Florida. And now it'll be knocked into the Cane zone by Sam Reinhart. 39 goals in the regular season for Reinhart. Working in the Cane zone, a shot that's deflected through the top of Anderson's blue paint. Kulikov all the way up, plays it around Martinook. Burns muscled off by Rodriguez, but Stahl will get to it along the right wing boards, and he'll clear it out as far as the Florida blue line. Now Reinhart back into the Cane zone. He'll drop it for Rodriguez. And another hit. This time it's Slavin on Reinhart. And that gets the crowd going. And then Aho deflects the puck into the Canes bench with a whistle. Carolina taking the body early in this one.
You know, Mike, Carolina has shown they can play with clean, potentially game-changing bite here in these playoffs so far. Carrier, when he won his Stanley Cup with Vegas, his best series by far was in the conference final for the Golden Knights at the time against Dallas. He's on the cusp, had the huge hit on Kulikov before Slavin's finish, two different ends of the rink.
Now a face-off just outside the Canes blue line. It'll be pitched out to center ice, but Florida bats it back in. Anderson and the trapezoid around the boards for Svechnikov. He lets it go to Aho. 2-on-1. Aho trying to send it across. Marvelous defensive play made by Nico Mikkola. Left his skates and knocked the pass away.
Would love to see Aho shoot that puck, especially early in the game.
Now Carolina back with it. Aho just inside his blue line. He'll hand this one off, but Morrow held on just a little too long. Offside is Carolina. 17:46 to go here in the first period.
Mikkola, who is a very sizable defenseman, so when he leaves his feet in a passing lane, he has a lot of real estate covered. If Sebastian is going to think about passing on a 2-on-1, at the very least, he's got to be deceptive with his eyes. His eyes sold that he was trying to go to Jarvis. Mikkola read it.
Now bouncing puck rolls into the Cane zone. Kotkaniemi sweeps it to the corner boards. Robinson trying to get to it. Played around by Tomas Nosek. Aaron Ekblad lets a shot go. That's fired wide. Now a sharp angle drive by A.J. Greer. Hits the side of the Canes net. Carolina will work this one all the way down. No icing. So Bobrovsky comes out of his net to play it. And he leaves it for Gustav Forsling, the one-time farmhand for Carolina, who has turned into a marvelous defenseman for this Florida Panthers team. Florida working it into the Cane zone along the right wing boards. Gostisbehere will knock Gadjevich off the puck. He'll take a hit, but he'll work it around for Morrow. Morrow, cross-ice pass for Blake. Carolina's offside as Blake touches it. Robinson got in just a hair early. And 3 minutes, 4 seconds elapsed here in this first period. And another whistle here.
Partner, Scott Morrow has a ton of self-belief, which has to be an asset if he's going to come into the playoffs and be able to make a contribution. He just held on to a puck to the right of Anderson along the goal line, practically against the boards. He didn't get antsy. He made a cross-ice pass across the ice. It was just offside, but that should give him a boost, that shift.
Now Carolina gets this in deep into the Florida zone. Kulikov trying to play it along the right wing boards, but knocked down and knocked back to his defensive partner, Nate Schmidt. He'll elevate this one as far as center, but Brent Burns paws it down. He'll get it to Stankoven. Stankoven will drop it back. Hall, he's given a big hit as he's upended by Brad Marchand. And now Florida going the other way. This will be deflected into the Cane zone. Anderson takes a peek. He'll play it around Lundell. And this puck gets reversed to Slavin behind his net. And will be tipped out and sent right back in by Seth Jones, who might be playing the best hockey of his career for Florida as he was acquired by the Panthers from Chicago. Now an intercept just in front of the Canes blue line. Nice play made there by Stahl, but another offside here against Carolina. 15:58 left here in the first period.
Neither team has been credited with a shot. I thought that Bobrovsky made the tip save from Walker on Logan Stankoven. Mike, I felt strongly about certain things, whether it be Jacob Markstrom in the first round, Logan Thompson in the second round. Bobrovsky, who right now is the best clutch goalie in the league, high to the glove, and specifically that elbow on the glove side. The Canes have had success when they have beaten him right there.
As we resume play, Carolina moving right to left on your radio dial, iPhone, iPad, or whatever device you're consuming this broadcast on. And we have not had a boring start to this one. 15:35 left. Lots of physical play, and a shot by Jones deflected wide to the left of Anderson's net. This one kept in. And a long shot just inside the blue line, wide of Anderson's net. Carolina will clear it. This will be icing, though. We'll bring the puck back into the Cane zone.
Florida, just from their defense, went off the end boards, and Anderson wasn't able to handle the puck coming out to the slot from the end boards. It's that blocker side, Mike. That's where Beauvillier scored his goal when Freddie got handcuffed on that particular side. It's got to find a way when it's coming off the end boards below the goal line to seal it before it gets to a dangerous area.
Face off to the right of Anderson. It's one back. Forsling tees it up right into the catching glove of Frederick Anderson, and he'll hang on.
Face off win. Forsling gets to the middle, but that's an ordinary save for Anderson. And you know, he has shown, both these goaltenders, he and Sergei, have shown an unbelievable ability, and it's a discipline to be sharp when they don't see shots for long periods of time. Typically, it's veterans who learn how to do that, but Freddie, you love to see him handle the puck like he did there on that shot for Forsling.
15 to go here in the first period. Face off to the right of Anderson. Another win for Florida. Played to the side of the net. Slavin able to knock this one free, and Burns will turn. He'll hand it back for Slavin. He'll cross his own blue line for Svechnikov, but that's intercepted by Ekblad. And waving at it and taking another hit there was tough shove on Carter Verhaeghe by Svechnikov. Now in front, a chance for Verhaeghe, and he'll pitch that just wide from Lundell. Now Svechnikov, he's just trying to hit anything he can, but we got a penalty coming up. Hooking is the call.
Announcement coming from Eric Furlat.
Order number 9, minor penalty, hooking.
Okay, so an offensive zone penalty from Bennett. This is a huge early opportunity. Svechnikov had turned the puck over at the offensive blue line. You don't want to see him do that, but he got back physical on Verhaeghe, then physical on Bennett. And Bennett's stick right before Svechnikov had gotten physical came up on the hands on Jacob Slavin as Slavin was possessing the puck along the goal line. Huge early chance. Offensive zone penalty, Mike. You want to make a pay.
If the Hurricanes put the biscuit in the basket on the power play tonight, get a free Bowberry biscuit at participating Bojangles tomorrow. Bojangles, it's bow time. As the Canes now working the bumper in Aho. From the top of the rings right into Bobrovsky's equipment, he'll hang on.
See, I like the sequencing there because Carolina needs to have a threatening player in the bumper position. The man in the middle, high in the slot. He moves up and down in the slot. Aho shoots the puck. So that's going to make the penalty killers respect that position, should make your flanks more dangerous.
Canes win the draw. Blake will come up with it. He'll peel it back off the near boards. Jarvis across, kept in by Gostisbehere. Svechnikov right back up. Now it's Jarvis with a drive. Bobrovsky makes the save, and he'll get looking for a whistle, and we'll get one. It was underneath Bobrovsky and some pushing and shoving afterwards.
That's exactly what I just mentioned. Because Aho shoots the puck in the bumper position, you win another power play faceoff. Because you've got to respect that man in the middle, the flanks are available. And Jarvis, good one-time opportunity. Bobrovsky brought the arm in on the blocker side to make a really good stop. That mayhem after the whistle, Jarvis came in. He's a defenseman there, and that's going to cause a neutral zone draw.
So put the face-off just outside of the Florida zone. Aho can't win it. And Forsling will send this back into the Cane zone. Only 30 seconds have elapsed on this power play try for Carolina. This postseason, Carolina 9 for 32 with a man advantage. That's 28.1%. That's fourth in the NHL. In this postseason of the 16 teams, Florida's penalty kill has killed 34 of 38. Only one team has been better. That's the Carolina Hurricanes penalty kill. It's Florida operating at a tick below 90. Now Aho with it. He'll get it to Svechnikov, top of the left circle. Back to Aho. Now it's Svechnikov, and the bumper out in front. Turnies Jarvis, and he had Gostisbehere sneaking down the back door, but just too far, and he'll knock it out of the zone. But the Canes quickly reload. Gostisbehere into the Florida zone. They'll play it along the boards. Past the end boards. Florida will get to it, throw into the middle of the rink, and it'll be tipped out. Good defensive play there by Ekblad. Aho with it, though. He'll come wheeling in. Avoids a big hit by Jones, and now the Canes can keep it in. This rolls out front. Partial change for Carolina. Jarvis with a thunderous hit there on Ekblad. Now Gostisbehere. Back for Hall. Across, save Bobrovsky. Puck loose. Top of the crease, and Bobrovsky will pounce on it. 15 seconds left in the power play, and Carolina has had some good looks, and now some pushing and shoving, and Taylor Hall involved in the action.
That was some really good puck movement. You know, Jarvis tried to go to Gostisbehere, as you mentioned, driving the back door. Right play, because Bobrovsky, hang on, penalty coming here first.
Carolina 20, minor penalty roughing.
So Aho gets the only penalty, so Florida's, after a brief 4-on-4 sequence, is going to go on their first power play. You had some really good looks. Jarvis did the right thing, active Bobrovsky stick, trying to go to Gostisbehere on the back door. The pass wasn't where it needed to be. Good shot high to the glove. Bobrovsky's made 2 or 3 excellent saves already. That's a tough pill to swallow for Brind'Amour that Aho's the only one to go, but you got to go about killing it off. So 2 offensive zone penalties in this young hockey game with this brief 4-on-4 situation before you get to it.
It'll be 15 seconds of 4-on-4. And then Florida will be going on the man advantage. Canes have the number 1 penalty killing unit in the NHL postseason. They've killed 28 of 30, 93.3%. Florida's power play is 8 for 39. That's 20.5%. It's 10th this postseason. They'll win the draw again, but this one will be deflected as both Slavin and Burns were there on that offering by Barkov, and goes over the glass into the netting.
Listen, if I'm calling a spade, you know, it's a situation like Game 4 when Jarvis got a penalty. You'd like to either send nobody or both, but bottom line is it's going to happen. You got to kill it off.
12:57 left in the first. We've got 4-on-4 hockey and no goals between Carolina and Florida. You're listening to the Eastern Conference Final on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything's possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Hey everyone, Adney and Burke here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
12:57 left in the first. 12 seconds of 4-on-4 hockey, and then Florida will be going to the power play for the first time here in this first period. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final alongside Chip Tracy. Mike Maniscalco here on your Hurricanes Radio Network.
This is going to be, I think, an important early face-off between both captains because Stahl on his tougher side, Barkov on his power side. If you can win it, when Bennett comes out of the box, you're all the way back probably in your own end, so you've got to gain the whole ice power play entry. Big face-off here.
Stahl set to take the draw to the right of Anderson. And he'll play it back from Barkov and swept all the way around by Slavin. And because it's 4-on-4, that'll be icing with 5 seconds left in the hooking penalty to Sam Bennett.
That's a shame because Stahl got help from, I thought, a forward and a defenseman to be able to tie Barkov off and win that draw. Can he do it again?
The exact same thing, and then Stahl uses his right skate to kick it to Slavin. And then this one will roll in. Bobrovsky's got to play it, and he will glove it down. And that will be an icing against Florida.
Yeah, this is because where that puck came from, the other side of the red line, it's treated as an icing. Now Carolina gets to choose their dot. And Stahl's going to choose his power side. Now Barkov, it switches. He's on his tougher side. These important moments, if Stahl can win it, then all of a sudden you can bleed time off of this penalty kill with a rare face-off deep in your own end if you're Florida when you're on a power play.
A minute 42 left here in the penalty kill for Carolina. Face-off to the right of Sergei Bobrovsky. Stahl, and it's a clean win back for Slavin looking for a shorthanded goal. And it'll bounce 2-3 times. Bobrovsky will glove it, melt it down again, and Carolina will gladly take another offensive zone draw while they're shorthanded.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Slavin, when Stahl won that face-off, he's going to take it in the same dot that he just did. You know, he had a choice. He could have backtracked with the puck because you're shorthanded. He chose to fire it at the net. He could have done either.
Now Florida will get to this draw. It'll be dropped back for Reinhart. And now scooted away by Seth Jones, watched by Stahl. Drop for Reinhart. Looking to gain entry in the Kane zone. Reinhart wraps it around the boards. Carolina Burns will get it to Martinook. Martinook uses the middle of the ice to clear. Jones gets to it before it can go the requisite 180 feet. Now a bouncing puck out in front. Barkov with a chance with a backhander. That's handled, and Burns lifts one that goes all the way back to Bobrovsky.
2 successful clears where there's no margin for when you go up the middle. Martinook and then Burns. He made sure on the backhand to get ultimate loft.
Now Reinhart. He'll wrap it around the right wing boards, around the end boards. Nice play made there by Orlov. Trying to clear was Walker. Now it's kept in. Reinhart with it. Right circle. Back up top. Barkov will go down low with it. He'll get it right back. Along the boards, out in front. Backhand chance to score. Sam Reinhart with a power play goal. 11:30 left here in the first. And the Panthers get the first goal of this Eastern Conference final.
Boy, Barkov's a great passer, isn't he? You know, he had gone with a really high velocity pass to the goal line on the half wall, going down to Tkachuk. Then he got it back. And now, you know, after he'd gone to the goal line, there's just that soft area to Verhaeghe in the middle. And Verhaeghe goes from his forehand to his backhand. At the end of all of it, Mike, it's a great shot on the short side, high to the glove on Anderson. But that's where you need a goaltender to be able to seal the short side.
They give it goal to Carter Verhaeghe. His third power play goal. His 5th goal of this postseason. And dead right there on that one, Trip. Excellent pass from the captain of the Panthers. And North Carolina finds themselves down 1-0. But back to 5-on-5 play. Just the third power play goal that Carolina's given up this postseason. A chance for Hall, kept in the Florida zone. Second chance, trying to get to it in the right circle, but that'll be knocked away. And Florida will play this one along the boards and into the Kane zone. Anderson looks to clear, kept in by Kulikov. It takes a Florida bounce out in front. Greer with the opportunity, save Anderson, and now coming the other way is Kotkaniemi. He'll cross the Florida blue line, but Mikkola will get to it and flip it to the Canes blue line. Orlov hustling. And he'll get it to Walker, only as far as center ice. Greer taken out of the play, and then Nosek loses it to Kotkaniemi.
Where Florida or Toronto was not ready against Florida, where Carolina should be more mature, is how you respond when you give up goals to limit the bleeding. That's where Toronto wasn't ready, and Florida took full advantage. Carolina should be more prepared to just worry about the next shift.
Now a chance for Jones behind his net. Tkachuk will deflect this one into the Kane zone. Anderson with room out for Kotkaniemi. He'll play this forward. Blake wanted to send it across, but fanned on the pass as Svechnikov was storming in off of the bench.
Yeah, the hands are a little rusty for Carolina. It was the right play to try to go Svechnikov across the ice. You're coming off a significant break. The hands have been rusty for me here in the first.
9:53 left here in the first. Carter Verhaeghe's fifth of this postseason has Florida up 1-0 in Game 1 of this Eastern Conference Final. You're listening to coverage of the NHL playoffs on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Hockey is a game of speed, and the Triangle is one of the fastest-growing regions in the country. At the center of the excitement are Lenovo and the Carolina Hurricanes, partnering to unveil the Lenovo Center. With one of its global headquarters in the Triangle, Lenovo is the perfect partner to launch a new era of technology and fun. Don't miss out. Come check out the Lenovo Center and cheer on the Canes. 7 seconds past the halfway point of this first period in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. Carter Verhaeghe's fifth goal of this playoffs. The only score so far, 1-0 Florida over Carolina.
You know, Mike, you go back to the first series against New Jersey. You know, you've given up the first goal. You did twice. 3 home wins in that series. So you have that positive muscle memory. Granted, Florida's a different animal.
Much different. Carrier will come up with a puck. He'll take it behind the net of Bobrovsky. Stop and turn on Kulikov. Kind of muscle it out front. We'll get it back for Burns. His shot deflected. Doesn't get all the way through as it goes off of Rodriguez. Back to Burns. Burns around the inboards. Martinov trying to get to it. Stahl in the corner. Stahl will come out with it. He'll whip it all the way back to the right point for Burns. Burns shot. Looking for deflection. He doesn't get it, but Slavin will get to it. He was trying to bounce one off the inboards, but that's intercepted by Barkov. Rodriguez carries it to the Canes' blue line. Burns wanted to turn that one away. Still in the Canes zone. Now it'll come out as Rodriguez couldn't keep him. Battle for it in front of the Canes bench. Loose puck finds Sebastian Aho. Aho into the Florida zone. This will deflect off of Aho from Orlov. Over the glass into the netting, stopping things with 8:52 left in the first. 1-0 Florida.
The previous moment when Florida did a heck of a job of getting in the shooting lane, Nate Schmidt, who played for Paul Maurice in Winnipeg, they have that history. He got stung pretty good, blocking a shot, and he has been battling on the bench. Knowing him, he'll be just fine. The Hurricanes, when they've had their best moments at 5-on-5 so far, they've had the ability to go low to high from the goal line to make the zone bigger, to make their defense, who has 8 goals, dangerous. They have to keep doing that.
Face off in the left circle for Carolina in the attack zone. Rodriguez will take it. That'll be knocked away, and Carolina will see Florida flip it back to the Canes zone. Gostisbehere couldn't clear it. Marchand will keep it in. It'll be deflected back out into the neutral zone. Loose puck will be scooped up by Gostisbehere. He goes around a loose line, and his shot is deflected by Forsling over the glass into the netting behind Bobrovsky.
Gostisbehere had a tight gap, and he was on his toes at his own blue line. I thought he had his best game as a defenseman that I've ever seen him have in Game 5 against Washington. So he turned what could have been an offensive zone shift for Florida into leading the rush himself at the last second. Forsling, who you've mentioned, is just a terrific defenseman. Right as Shane was getting ready to shoot the puck, Forsling sealed with the stick, goes into the netting for this faceoff.
Roslovic, Hall, Stankoven. Puck will deflect into the corner of the Panthers zone. It'll be knocked out by Jones to center. Roslovic along the boards. He'll get some help from Hall, and chasing after it, Stankoven, and he takes on the much better Mikkola, and he'll come up with the puck. Much bigger Mikkola. Now across. It's Gostisbehere. He makes a move, drives the lane to the side of the net, deflected just wide by Stankoven. Gaines keeping the pressure on Morrow's drive. That'll be blocked away by Bobrovsky. Carolina keeping the pressure on Morrow inside the blue line. He's given a shove. Loose puck will be taken by Seth Jones. He'll ease this one in. Jonah Gadjevich is looking for his unmentionables after Gostisbehere faked him out just inside the blue line.
And Gostisbehere made a pass. It was the right decision. Would have been a tap, and what a stick from Florida in front.
Now Rodriguez gets it out, and they'll score. Sent across for Ekblad, and he will beat Frederik Andersen to the post. And it's 2-0 Florida.
Andersen, who's been brilliant in these playoffs, his glove side has been an issue on both Florida goals. Both teams have gotten major production from their back end. And Ekblad, who missed a good portion of the end of the regular season, first couple games of the playoffs, suspended by the National Hockey League. He used Morrow as a screen. I don't think Andersen saw it. Stahl had mishandled a puck that led to Rodriguez establishing himself behind the Carolina net. I don't think that Freddie ever saw it. Went off the glove side post and in as Morrow was trying to block it.
Ekblad's third of this postseason, and Carolina now finds themselves down 2-0. 7:15 remaining here in the first period. And Carolina has Aho into the Florida zone, across for Jarvis. Jarvis works his way in front, and Bobrovsky makes the save.
You know, Mike, this is early adversity, because I would argue that Carolina's had the better chances in this game. I would make that strong argument. They're down 2-0. Bobrovsky has outplayed Andersen. You know, I'm sure Rod Brindamore did not like the call at all to Aho, but it's going to happen. Florida cashes on a power play where they really hadn't had any chances. It's early in the game. You were down 3-0 against New Jersey. Again, a different opponent. Yeah. The Hurricanes have actually had the better of play despite being in this hole.
Yeah, as the face-off. It was won back by Roslovic, but he drew it all the way out of the Florida zone, so the Canes have to chase it. Walker tries to get this one in, but Marchand, he'll lose it. Carolina will come up with a puck, and that pass just a little too far. He is trying to locate that one. Was Stankoven back, but a chance for Kulikov. He will fire this one into the Kane zone, but offside are the Panthers with 6:40 remaining here in the first, and we'll get a face-off at center ice.
You're just a little bit rusty in certain areas. You've got numbers and speed just inside the Florida blue line. You try to make a play to the middle. The two guys, I think it was Stankoven and Hall, they didn't read and react off of one another. So all of a sudden, you're tracking back into the neutral zone. I just think that there's been a little bit of rust in terms of the cohesion and the hands.
This puck in the King zone, swatted at, and sent out in front, and then Andersen will make the save on a wrister from Nosek. With no traffic out in front, Carolina clears. Florida will get it right back. Greer sends it into the Kane zone. Panthers will tag up. That allows Blake to feed this one free. Robinson will tip this in deep. Reaching for it is Bobrovsky. Into the corner. Robinson wanted to play it, but it comes all the way out. Reinhart gets it across for Rodriguez. They'll wrap it around the boards in the Kane zone. Slavin wants to locate it. Reinhart gets it and gets it all the way across. Barkov off the inboards, back for Rodriguez behind the Kings net. He'll step out in front. Good stick by Kotkaniemi as he denies the pass. Going back to the point. Rodriguez takes down Kotkaniemi. Nothing there, and now Carolina will clear. Stahl will tip this one out to center ice. Florida right back on it. Ekblad group this one around. Martinook takes a hit to get it to Burns. Verhaeghe, a little bump there on Burns. It's knocked free to center ice. Stahl will play this one back. Martinook chases after it. He's got a shoulder into the corner. Puck along the boards, a sharp angle shot by Carrier. Save made by Bobrovsky. Bouncing puck settled down by Florida. 5:05 remaining in the first. 2-0 Panthers over Carolina. Pass goes high off the glass, bounding in the Kane zone. Verhaeghe, one of the 2 goal scorers for Florida, sends this one deep. Orlov takes a heavy hit. Carolina able to move this one out to center ice. Now in is Aho, and Bobrovsky with the denial. Jarvis will keep it in. Aho wants to make a play. Schmidt will. Now Jarvis in the slot. A low drive kicked away. Another chance, and this will be flung to the Canes' blue line as Florida exhales after those 2 tries.
Well, Max Domi scored for Toronto in Game 7 2 nights ago, 5-hole. Aho tried to go there, so did Jarvis after. I just don't think you're going to have success low on Sergei Bobrovsky. He's been outstanding in the period.
Now Goss to spare, muscles Marchand down to the ice. Puck behind the net. Jarvis will get it to Svechnikov. Back to the left point. Goss to spare. Goss to spare. He'll reverse this one around for Jarvis. Jarvis along the right wing boards. Back for Morrow. Morrow dancing with it. He sends it all the way around. 4 minutes remaining here in the first. Aho lets it go back to Goss to spare. He waves at it, but it'll be cleared. Florida's a little gassed right now. Luosterainen is almost doubled over. He'll make it to the bench as Florida can change. Loose puck. Kept in by Orlov. Low drive, though, into the catching glove of Sergei Bobrovsky. Carolina is out shooting Florida 9-5, but the Panthers have a 2-0 lead with 3:40 left here in the first period. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. You're listening to Carolina Hurricanes playoff hockey on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
Who wants to save up to $1 a gallon on gas with Harris Teeter fuel points? It's easy. Shop at Harris Teeter with your Vic card. Earn 1 fuel point for every $1 spent. Redeem your points for gas savings at Harris Teeter fuel centers in our partnering Amoco and BP gas stations. You can even check your fuel points in the Harris Teeter app. Get 4 times the fuel points when you shop on Fridays. Harris Teeter, in food with love.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen. And this is Sarah Beth. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese. I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
For almost a decade, the Hurricanes have trusted their T-shirt needs with Cardinal Apparel. Carolina Hurricanes alumni Shane Willis here to tell you Cardinal Apparel has expanded and relocated to better serve their clients across the state. Formerly known as Raleigh Screen Print, Cardinal Apparel will produce high-quality screen printing while working directly with customers. Don't waste your time online trying to order through third-party vendors. Save money and time working with Cardinal Apparel. Visit cardinalapparel.com to start your order today.
3:40 left in the first period. Carolina trailing Florida 2-0 here. And alongside Trip Tracy, Mike Maniscalco, technical tandem, John Brockwell here in the booth, and Rusty Helzer at Master Control in Raleigh.
If you get breakaway chances like Aho did, he plays breakaways to Sergei Bobrovsky, way different than Logan Thompson. Thompson played deep. That's why Hall in Game 4, smart to shoot and strike. Bobrovsky challenges. Deking is the move. I just think Aho would have been better served to go forehand to his backhand, then try to get elevation upstairs. I just believe strongly you got to go upstairs on him if you're going to have a chance at success.
Carolina trailing by 2 here in the first. 3:25 remaining. Will Carrier with another big hit as this line has basically been tracking anything that moves. Now Carrier will deflect this one, center ice. Jones will get to it. Long drive flung right on. Anderson will gobble that one up. But it will be a defensive zone draw for Carolina.
I think this is the most testy moment for Frederik Andersen so far in these Stanley Cup playoffs. Both goals to the glove. I think he had trouble seeing the second one. You had on the first one from Verhaeghe, a really good kill. Would have loved to see him protect the short side. I'm trying to think of any jinx I can put on Bobrovsky because he's just doing so far what he did in the Eastern Conference Final 2 years ago. But Freddie's got to build a game. This is the first time he's faced some adversity so far for me in these playoffs this year.
In that Eastern Conference Final, Bobrovsky was 4-0 with a 1.12 goals against average in a ridiculous trip, as you know, playing the position. 966 save percentage. Now Jarvis will deflect this one, trying to find Aho. Florida will keep it in. Worked around the boards. Kept in by Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe into the corner with Bennett. And that'll be back behind the net. Trying to bull his way out in front is Kachuk. That long drive will be deflected wide of Anderson's net. Svechnikov hooked there by Bennett. He'll play it free. And a chance for Carolina as Walker behind his own net. He'll start to amble out towards his blue line. Across for Orlov. And he will gain the red line and send this one in. Now it'll take a bounce for Kotkaniemi. He plays it back to the point. That's going to be offside. Carolina has to tag up as Burns couldn't get there. And now a chance for Luosterainen to roll this one back into the Kane zone. Burns back to get it. Sidesteps the hit there from Luosterainen. Now he'll kick one at the side of the net as Florida keeps it in.
Kotkaniemi needed to hold on to that puck there. Blake mishandles one in his own end. You need more composure.
Now Kotkaniemi will settle this one down. And he is driven into the boards awkwardly, but gets right up. Slavin gapped up on Lundell. And then he'll use his stick to deflect this one with 90 seconds to go in the first period. Back for Anderson. Slavin will take Harbor behind his net. He'll hand it out. As Carrier. Roll this one in. Stahl shoulders Seth Jones. But Florida able to clear. Out to the Canes blue line. Mikula got it there. Martinuk takes a hit. And he'll get this one deep into the Florida zone. Mikula with it now. 1 minute remaining here in this opening period. 2-0. Panthers lead Carolina in game one of the Eastern Conference Final. This puck worked around the boards into the Kane zone behind the net of Anderson. They'll all meet for it. Jarvis trying to poke that one free. Svechnikov plays it around Ekblad, but it'll be kept in by Forsling. We'll send it around the boards. Carolina will get to it. Up for Jarvis. He'll take a hit from Forsling, and now Gostisbehere with 28 seconds will get it into the Florida zone and have it knocked away by Rodriguez. Bennett wants to make a play, but that's knocked down neatly. Excellent play there by Walker. Carolina, Jarvis with it out in front. They score! Sebastian Aho deflects it out in front with 14.8. Carolina is on the board.
In my opinion, Bennett took a chance with a 2-0 lead he shouldn't have taken, trying to get a breakaway at the Carolina blue line. Time and place, not the time and place. Carolina counters. That pass went off of Aho's skate. I did not see a kicking motion. I thought it just hit his skate. His skate stayed on the ice from Jarvis. Looked like it went off the inside of his right skate. This is not a coach's challenge. This is a league review. The referees are all together. They'll take a look at this on the tablet to make sure with video review in Toronto. Oftentimes video review comes on site at this point in the playoffs. Aho's skate stayed on the ice. I did not see a distinct kicking motion. Trying to play with his stick. It's not in his stick. There is some flexion in his skate, but the key portion for me is his skate stayed on the ice the entire time. Jarvis's pass was off the mark, so he had to adjust to just try to get it to the net. People have a different definition of what a kicking motion is. My belief, Mike, has always been if your skate stays on the ice, it's a good goal.
And they have pointed to center ice. It is a good goal. Sebastian Aho. His fourth goal of this postseason has got Carolina on the board here late in the first.
Taking advantage, in my opinion, of a mistake from Florida. Trying to go for a breakaway at the offensive blue line. We got a 2-0 lead. Carolina cut it off. Was it Kachuk or was it Bennett that went for it with the stick to try to create a breakaway? Carolina wasn't going to get a chance in the last minute of play. And the Hurricanes have had a repeated theme of being good early in periods and late in periods, much better than the regular season.
And that got Lenovo center back into this one. 8 seconds remaining here in the first period. Roslovic tries to get it around Jones. It'll be deflected at center ice. 1 second left, and the horn goes. And Carolina trailing 2-0, but with 16 seconds left. Sebastian Aho gets the Canes on the board, and they'll be down a goal heading into the intermission.
And you are not going to win this series unless Aho is a big part of it. He was dangerous the whole period. I thought he got a raw deal on the penalty that he got that resulted in Verhaeghe's goal. So now you've got life. And both teams, for me, Mike, both teams have excelled in the second period. Carolina, especially at home. Can they do it again in this second with that life late in the period?
We'll expound on that one when we come back for the second period. But right now, it's our first intermission report. Adam Gold will get you caught up on everything in this one as the Canes get some late life with Sebastian Aho, Seth Jarvis, and Andrei Svechnikov combining for the Canes goal. But after 20, it's the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers on top 2-1. You're listening to Hurricanes Playoff Hockey on the Canes Radio Network.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I tell people all the time, every single company that I endorse, it's about customer service. You guys are amazing. What is the philosophy of Aluminum Company?
So for us, it's all about helping customers out, right? If you want us to look around and see what windows are the worst, or if you need some doors and windows, we put together a package that works for the customer. There's no pressure. We absolutely try to help with financing options.
800-672-4348 or aluminumcompany.com.
Guys, Marcy Bailey here from Bailey's Fine Jewelry with some diamond advice. Buying an engagement ring doesn't have to be so complicated. We've been doing this since 1948, and we know what women want. A combination of size and quality. And a little hint here, size wins big. We guarantee you can be in and out in under an hour, and she'll love the ring or your money back. It's that easy. Come see why we're voted the best place to buy a diamond. And remember, every woman wants a Bailey box.
What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you could choose one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon, with big bank reliability and small bank resolve. You get 160 years of financial strength and stability and an enduring commitment to personal service. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank. Visit firsthorizon.com/getitall.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center on the Lenovo Intermission Report. Brought to you by Lenovo, official technology provider of the Carolina Hurricanes. 2-1 Panthers. After one, Sebastian Aho was really having a not very good first period and then gets the goal off a skate. A pass from Seth Jarvis, pretty much straight down the slot. And all of a sudden, Carolina, who played a pretty good period, but was trailing 2-0 with 15 seconds left in the game, can feel a little bit better about things heading to the locker room. But really, the Hurricanes had some opportunities early in the period. Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis in a 2-on-1. Nico Mikkola, the only defender back. And Aho kind of telegraphed the pass, made it easy for Mikkola to deny it across. That should have been a shot for Sebastian. Rod Brindamore then flipped Aho and Stahl for a few shifts. Aho goes to the penalty box. Awful call that Aho was in the box for. But still, Carolina couldn't kill the power play. So Florida leads 1-0. Hurricanes really carrying the play initially. And then Jordan Stahl misplays a puck behind his own net. Comes out to Aaron Ekblad. Scott Morrow really screening his own goaltender. Anderson couldn't get it off the far side, just inside the far post. And it's 2-0 Florida. They really created one chance on their own all period long. But the Hurricanes do get the goal right before the end of the period. And it's good for Aho, good for the Hurricanes, because they played pretty well in the first. We'll come back and we will check first period highlights next.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Hey everyone, Adney and Burke here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit, the cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, we got highlights here on the Lenovo Intermission Report. 2-1, Panthers. I am Adam Gold. First period highlights are brought to you by Kia. Carolina came out physical. William Carrier throwing his body around.
Now Carrier with a monstrous hit as he lays out Kulikov along the boards. Stahl follows suit. Bouncing puck, though, controlled by Florida. And another hit. This time it's Slavin on Reinhart. And that gets the crowd going. And then Aho deflects the puck into the Canes bench with a whistle. Carolina taking the body early in this one.
Yeah, Carolina has been throwing their weight around. Sergei Bobrovsky doing what Bobrovsky has done to the Hurricanes in the past.
Now in is Aho and Bobrovsky with the denial. Jarvis will keep it in. Aho wants to make a play. Schmidt will. Now Jarvis in the slot. A low drive kicked away. Another chance. And this will be flung to the Canes blue line as Florida exhales after those two try.
Yeah, Aho had to settle down a bouncing puck on that breakaway try, and he could not get it past Bobrovsky. But then, after Florida makes a mistake in trying to get a third goal late in the period, they extend themselves, they overextend themselves, and here comes Carolina's top line the other way.
Carolina, Jarvis with it out in front. They score! Sebastian Aho deflects it out in front with 14.8. Carolina is on the board.
Really wasn't a great first period for Carolina's leading scorer, Sebastian Aho, but he made it work with a goal off his skate, and it's 2-1. We'll talk it over with Walt Ruff next.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Ugh, wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds. Winning range from 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline at 777-718-5543.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
2-1, Panthers with the lead after one period. I am Adam Gold. This is the Lenovo Intermission Report. Walt Ruff, Hurricanes.com, content maestro, wizard of the keyboards. All right, paint me a first period picture here, sir.
Well, I'm certainly glad the Carolina Hurricanes got one back late.
Yeah?
I didn't think it was that bad of a period for them.
Thought it was a good period.
Exactly. They certainly generated their patented offense. I mean, out-shooting Florida 10-7, but in terms of chances generated, I thought they unquestionably created the more dangerous ones.
Did Florida generate any chances on their own? Power play.
Yeah, that power play goal was impressive. Not a whole lot of room to work with for Carter Verhaeghe. He still found a way to shift it to his backhand and get it up high. I mean, Jordan Stahl wants that one back. That's obvious, but
that was on the Ekblad goal. That's the one he turns over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. That's the other chance that Florida had. They generated nothing on their own. How good... I want to rephrase this. How good is it to see for Aho that he gets the goal? Because it was, I think, a first period to forget for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to go into the break, right?
Yeah.
I guess I on the eye test, I thought there was no way it counted.
I agree. I actually put it on Twitter.
I couldn't believe it.
I think this goal's coming off.
I could not believe it, but they deem it was good, and like you said, he's going back to the room a whole heck of a lot happier. I'm sure he was clearly frustrated after taking the penalty that led to Florida's first power play attempt, and that was a situation within itself. But the Canes have momentum now coming back.
I'll get to the penalty in a minute, because I thought the period started poorly for Aho. The 2-on-1 with Jarvis. Mikkola goes down. That puck, you're never getting that pass through. Shoot the puck.
Having flashbacks to December and January, where I felt like we were having the conversation all the time of his inability to fire.
I'm having flashbacks to the Washington series and to the Devils series. I know he scored a bunch of goals in the Devils series, 3 goals, all on the power play. So this is his first 5-on-5 goal of the playoffs. That's good. But he had a game where he had no shot attempts against the Devils. Game 2 here, which they won, but he had no shot attempts. And he had a game like that, I think, where he had 1 shot attempt against Washington. They're not beating Florida unless Aho is the difference maker. And he just should have shot that puck.
He's got to be the killer. I mean, he drives the bus for this team offensively any way you want to cut it, and they're going to need him to do so here in the series.
Some physicality. Do you have a favorite hit from the opening period?
I'll highlight Will Carrier. I mean, he just did a fantastic job. He was all over it, running around like a chicken with his head cut off. But every time the puck was going into the corner and he was on the ice, he was banging a body. I mean, Dmitry Kulikov is not a small gentleman by any means, and he gave him a pretty rough ride down there in the corner in the first 5 minutes of the game. And I think that set the tone, right? Because there were a couple guys who followed it up. There was that hit on the near side boards by Andre. Jacob Slavin had a nice one. So, again, something that may not show up on the score sheet, but Will Carrier certainly made his presence felt.
23 hits in the first period for Carolina.
Wow.
20 for Florida. I'm sure that will tone down as the game goes on. I don't think we're going to see like a combined 130 hits in this game. These two teams will kill each other. And so it just naturally is going to have to calm down. But that was the first period of the Eastern Conference Finals. I was a little shocked that Rod gave Jack Roslovic's line the Marchand line. But with all due respect, we didn't see a lot from Marchand, Lundell, and Listerino.
I'm with you. I was a little surprised as well, but got to give him credit. The man's a matchup magician, especially here in Raleigh, is he not?
No question. Real quick, Carolina's top pair defensively, Slavin and Burns, have they looked good to you?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah,
no?
I think so. That was the leading question.
Can we give Scott Morrow some love? I thought it was a good pair.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him close down Ekblad or get out of Freddie's way.
Sure.
That's my only criticism on that.
Of course. Got the first shot on goal, and he asserted himself, right? That's what you need. You need Scott playing his game. If he's going to be effective, you need him playing to be the offensive defenseman that he is. And he didn't look scared in the first period.
No, I actually thought he was good in that end, in the offensive part of the ice. I thought he was good. Scott will have to learn. Actually, Jacob Slavin had to learn how to close down players early in his career. Slavin would get beat when he wasn't close enough or didn't get his stick in there in time. And I thought Morrow was just, I think Tripp said earlier, no man's land. He wasn't close enough to Ekblad to deflect the shot or block it, and he was in Freddie's way. Other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? That's Walt Ruff, Hurricanes.com. Content Maestro, Wizard of the Keyboards. Talk to you Thursday, or I'm not even going to say it, because I'm still having flashbacks to the first game 2 years ago. Okay,
I think we talked 6 times that night.
Oh my gosh! I hope I don't talk to you again later. We'll come right back with a check of the NHL scoreboard. I'll just give you this score again after these words from your local stations on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 16 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Apex Racing Lab brings the adrenaline-pumping world of sim racing to life. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, you can race friends and family for fun or join a competitive league. Ready to race? Head to Apex Racing Lab in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com.
He's setting up the play at Penn Station East Coast Subs.
Can I get a 6-inch hot grilled Italian sub?
He shoots.
Should I grab a bag of chips?
Nope. All our subs come with fresh cut fries.
He scores!
Everybody wins at Penn Station East Coast Subs with hot grilled subs for pickup or delivery. Fresh cut fries. 5 convenient Triangle locations. You're set up for a great meal any day when you do it the Penn Station way. Check out the menu and order online today at penn-station.com.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center on the Lenovo Intermission Report. Brought to you by Lenovo, official technology provider of the Carolina Hurricanes. First period scoreboard, Cardinal Apparel, proud partner and t-shirt provider of the Carolina Hurricanes. No other game tonight in the NHL. Tomorrow, Dallas and Edmonton will open up their series in Big D. Edmonton actually a slight favorite to win the series. Dallas a favorite to win game one. Mikko Rantanen leads the playoffs with 9 goals. Andrei Svechnikov one behind with 8. We'll see if Carolina can get on the horse in the second period. It's been their best period of the playoffs. Mike and Tripp will have the second period next.
We all love cheering on the Hurricanes, and our Triangle neighbor Lenovo is giving us something else to cheer about. The global technology giant is going all in to enhance the fan experience at the Lenovo Center and support the transformative entertainment district, making it a one-stop shop for all things fun in the Triangle. Hockey, entertainment, food, and more. Check it out at the newly named Lenovo Center and Entertainment District, where celebration starts in the Triangle. See you there.
Who wants to save up to $1 a gallon on gas with Harris Teeter fuel points? It's easy. Shop at Harris Teeter with your VIC card. Earn 1 fuel point for every $1 spent. Redeem your points for gas savings at Harris Teeter fuel centers in our partnering Amoco and BP gas stations. You can even check your fuel points in the Harris Teeter app. Get 4 times the fuel points when you shop on Fridays. Harris Teeter, in food with love.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen. And this is Sarah Beth. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese.
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
We get ready to start the second period here in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final, along with Chip Tracy, Mike Maniscalco here at Lenovo Center, and Carolina trailing Florida 2-1 after 1. But, Trip, you liked the Canes' first period other than the score.
I did. Now, to be able to get something out of it, to have a guy going to the net and have a goal going off his skate, you know, that should give Aho a big lift. Here's the reality. In this building against New Jersey, in Washington, Carolina has flipped the pendulum in their favor repeatedly in second periods. Florida's second periods on the road, including the Toronto series, have been stellar as well. So this is strength on strength in the second. Can Carolina play against the Panthers the way they have at home in second periods in this postseason?
And we are underway here in this second period. Carolina wins the draw all the way back into their own zone. Burns bothered by Rodriguez. Carolina trying to clear. Jones will keep it in. He'll go behind the net. Reinhart will tip it. And Rodriguez will play it back to Miklo. He whips it for Jones. He can't handle it. This would be offside. Comes over the blue line to back up Tripp's point. Carolina has outscored their opponents 12-6 in the second period this postseason.
That's even more drastic if you just do the numbers at home.
Florida 16-9 in favor of the Panthers. So we resume, and the Canes working this puck in the Florida zone, trying to get it back, but able to get a stick to it is Lou Sterainen, and So we work back into the Kane zone. Anderson in the trapezoid. Off the glass, deflected. Waved at and Hall. No clear. Just over the Canes blue line, and Nate Schmidt wraps it back in. Good play by Gostisbehere. Finds Stankoven, but now loose puck out in front. Turning with it, a shot right on. Excellent look there by Lundell. Now out in front, Carolina. Dangerous play there. Trying to cut and make a play. And Anderson had to be ready. Almost friendly fire.
Yeah, Taylor Hall, he doesn't want to drag that puck to the middle unless he's sure. I like Gostisbehere a lot. I think that there's been a little trepidation for Morrow since a good first shift.
See if that can be put away. As Florida going to work in the Kane zone again, and there's a good stick by Taylor Hall defensively as he deflects that into the Florida bench. Stopping play with 18-19 remaining in the second period. 2-1 Panthers lead.
The Aho line comes on the ice. What does Aho do with that late goal? And being able to be truly dynamic in this series. Svechnikov, not part of the Eastern Conference Final 2 years ago. Jarvis, who I thought was dangerous in the first period. This line will start against Bennett's line in their own end. But what do they do individually and collectively with that late goal in the first?
Aho did not have a goal in the Washington series, but he did have 2 assists. His line mates had a bunch as Carolina. This will be icing on the Canes, much to the chagrin of the referees here at Lenovo Center in the crowd.
Yeah, I thought that puck hit a stick just outside the Florida blue line, but no dice. And so Aho will flip over to the other side on Sam Bennett. Advantage Bennett. Aho may need help.
And it's Kachuk will get to it. Back for Forsling, deflected. Bennett, backhand chance. He elevates that over the top of Anderson's net.
Aho got back at the last second. Bennett on the backhand, got a stick on it.
Now Carolina trying to make a play in the middle of the rink. Done there by Walker. His angled pass off of the boards, too far for Jarvis, and now it's Kachuk. He'll get it to Forsling. He will wind it all the way around the Kane zone. Bennett will come up with it. That shot right on, caught and hung on to by Frederick Anderson.
I see energy being good for Carolina. I see hands being a work in progress. They're just not handling the puck like they are when they're in the steady flow of a playoff series. Does that get better and better as this rolls along? Does fatigue become a factor for Florida? Probably not with their caliber. The hands for me for Carolina so far have been a challenge.
Face off to the left of Anderson. Florida did spend Sunday night in Toronto. They flew yesterday here to Carolina. So,
and when they beat Boston on the road in Game 7 a few years ago before they played Carolina in the conference final, they went right on the road and played Toronto and beat them. Just like Carolina years ago when they beat Washington in 7, went right on the road and won 2 games against the Islanders. It can be an advantage. You just never know. We'll see.
Carolina works this puck into the Florida zone. Stall shot goes to the end boards. It'll be kicked out. Barkov gives it away to Martinook. Martinook looking to keep it in, but Florida gets it out quickly. Kulikov with it. For Schmidt, back to Kulikov right on. And a nice low save made there by Anderson. Made sure he got the pads down to the ice on that.
That was a good lateral save. Anderson's had 2 good stops for me here in this period. And he has to have the mindset, even early in the second, there really can't be a third one.
This puck will be picked up in the Kane zone as Morrow will get this now. Blake drags, shoots for the far post, and Bobrovsky might have got the stick to it as it was sailing wide all the way back into the Kane zone. Gostisbehere with a nice move around Gadjevich again. He works it up. Diagonal pass to Blake along the right wing boards. We'll roll this where Mikkola will get to it behind the Florida net. Now up for Nosek. Back for Mikkola, who jumps in on the play, and across, and they score! A.J. Greer takes a beautiful feed from the Florida defenseman, and it's 3-1 Panthers with 16:27 left here in the second.
Boy, that's an exceptional play from Paul Maurice's fourth line that really turned the series. when he put them together down 2-0 at the time in Game 3 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Boy, have the Florida Panther defenseman ever been active? Ekblad has a goal. Mikkola is a big guy who can really skate. He turned this into a 3-on-2. He was way deep in his own end, and Blake became a spectator to the puck and stopped skating. Mikkola kept skating, and Mikkola receives the first pass. Once it becomes a 3-on-2, goes to Greer. Greer with a beautiful high finish on his natural side. It's a young moment for Jackson Blake. And I'll tell you, Florida's defense, they have been very active and dangerous.
Now Florida trying to connect the dots here to Marchand, but that's too far. Icing, so Carolina will get an offensive zone draw here after the goal that's made it 3-1. A.J. Greer, his second of his postseason career, all of them coming this year, Trip.
Yeah, again, Paul Maurice, down 2-0 to the Toronto Maple Leafs, put this line together, and they have been a massive part. The fact that the Florida Panthers have gone 4-1 since then and have a lead in this game.
Carolina will win the draw back. Walker's shot. That'll miss everything, but it'll come back for Orlov. Back for Walker. He'll drop it for Orlov. He drives down the left wing boards. He'll leave it for Stankoven. Watched by Marchand. Stankoven trying to come away with it, but Jones comes up with it. Then Marchand knocks the stick out of Stankoven's hands, and Stankoven stays with it. He'll keep the play alive. Back for Walker. His drive elevates. Now a long drive, and that'll be redirected. Barkov and company trying to get to it. Bobrovsky had trouble with it. Now a drive here by Walker. That's going to be blocked by Luosterainen, and it'll work its way into the bench of the Florida Panthers stopping play with 15:31 left here in the second.
Stankoven has gotten to the inside, gotten to the paint, and has had a couple of tip chances in this game. He just had another one. Logan Stankoven has the hunger to get there. If he can get there, his offensive skill set can do the rest. He's been able to do so far in this game.
He's leading all rookies in goals this postseason with 3. Now Stahl comes up with a big win for Carolina offensively to the right of Bobrovsky. Back to the point for Slavin. Slavin couldn't keep it in, so the Canes have to tag up. And a free out for the Panthers. As this is worked into the Cane zone. Turning with it is Burns. Burns trying to find Martinook, who knocks it down at center ice, but the bouncing puck is turned up for Barkov. He will slap it into the Cane zone, but Anderson moves it for Burns. Burns able to clear. It goes to the Florida blue line, and now right back into the Cane zone as Barkov has it. Back for Ekblad, who hammers one. That misses everything.
What a pass from Barkov. Florida's defense continues to jump. That pass across the ice, weak side defenseman that Ekblad was.
Now this will bounce off the end boards to Frederick Anderson. He puts the catching glove on it and gets a whistle with 14:38 remaining here in the second. Carolina trailing 3-1.
Barkov is so smart, and he holds on to pucks at the appropriate times. He moves it quickly at the appropriate times. And whether it be Mikkola and Greer's goal, or it be that chance from Ekblad, which was a grade A chance, the weak side defenseman, Carolina's wingers are going to have to be dialed in. Because in almost all cases, it's the wingers that have to make sure to be on the right side of the puck, the defensive side of the puck, on those Florida defensemen.
Face off to the left of Frederick Anderson. Carolina gets to it. Jarvis tips it out of the zone to the Florida end, but Florida right back on it. But Verhaeghe couldn't handle it, and Jones has got to play it. As you could hear the officials say, no icing. Now a drive there by Aho, kicked away by Bobrovsky. Jarvis trying to play it behind the net. He's sealed off of it. Svechnikov with a good play on Jones, who was looking for a call. Nothing there. This shot just outside the Canes blue line. Handled by Anderson. He was trying to feed Jarvis, who was still hovering around the Florida blue line, but misses them, and this will be icing on Carolina.
Freddie Anderson's puck handling has been a little bit off in this game. That was the right decision. He saw both Aho and Jarvis when he caught the puck. They were wide open. Aho in particular was wide open. He tried to sauce it to Jarvis. It landed, it bounced at the offensive blue line. Jarvis did get a piece, so icing on the play.
Now Florida gets the offensive zone draw. Nate Schmidt tries to go for the near post. Now out in front. Anderson makes the save, and the follow-up. He'll get to that one on the Gadjevich backhand.
Coming off of Game 7, your fourth line that has been so good. You can lean on them that much more. They just nearly had their second of the period for Florida.
Well, Frederick Anderson denies Spencer Martin's brother-in-law there to keep this a 2-goal game. Florida leading the Hurricanes 3-1. 13:58 left in the second. You're listening to Eastern Conference Final coverage on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
Hey everyone, Adney and Burke here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit, the cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
For almost a decade, the Hurricanes have trusted their t-shirt needs with Cardinal Apparel. Carolina Hurricanes alumni Shane Willis here to tell you Cardinal Apparel has expanded and relocated to better serve their clients across the state. Formerly known as Raleigh Screen Print, Cardinal Apparel will produce high-quality screen printing while working directly with customers. Don't waste your time online trying to order through third-party vendors. Save money and time working with Cardinal Apparel. Visit cardinalapparel.com to start your order today.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Alongside Trip Tracy, Maniscalco here on your Hurricanes Radio Network. 13:58 left in the second period. And the Florida Panthers with a 3-1 lead here in the second period.
How about this? Paul Maurice goes right back after a commercial timeout to the Noshik line with Gadjevich and Greer. You know, he has to be thrilled how much he can lean on him when they played as much hockey as they have. Before the break, ended with him, comes out of the break with him.
Now, the strength of these teams, Trip, is the depth, and that both coaches trust all of their lines and give them these opportunities. It's Kotkaniemi, Robinson, and Blake out right now for Rod Brindamore.
That's a coach knowing that, you know, his players were taxed. I know they blew out the Leafs. The fourth line doesn't play a ton. This is a game where if they're going, he can really lean on him, and he is.
Now Robinson will carry the puck into the Florida zone. Into the corner it goes along the boards. Carolina wanting to clear, but it'll be knocked down by Florida. Stock Forsling able to pitch it over the blue line. That's it. Carolina serves it back in. Bobrovsky will play it for Kulikov. And a chance for Florida's Lundell will work this one in. Anderson along the boards, but it'll be kept in by Forsling at the point. The shot goes off of the inboards. It'll be tracked down by Marchand. Block tie there by Slavin. Marchand, he'll get to it. He'll turn his shot. Knocked down by Hall out in front, who does a nifty little soccer-style move. Cristiano Ronaldo would have liked that one to keep it away.
Well, it was an important block because Lundell was lurking in front if Taylor isn't able to block that puck.
Now it's worked into the corner. And Stankoven is able to take it away from Forsling into the corner. Ekblad will try to knock it down.
No stick for Sergei Bobrovsky.
Now out in the slot, Bobrovsky makes the save as Roslovic let a missile go. And no stick, it was no problem for Bobrovsky.
What a save. In that case, I know I keep talking about going high, but with no stick, you show high and fire it down low with no stick in that situation.
Now this one will be worked around the boards. Carolina back into work in the Florida zone. Walker inside the blue line. He'll go across. He'll get it right back, trying to shovel that one forward. And that will go into the equipment up high of Luosterainen, and he'll get a whistle as he's knocked down by Walker.
Just a sensational chance for Jack Roslovic. Bobrovsky's stick was between the dot to his right, the face-off dot, and the boards. There's a little bit of contact with Taylor Hall that forced him to lose his stick. So, as a goaltender, you know you don't have your stick, and you know when Roslovic gets the puck, chances are, and if you read especially the major part of his curve between the middle of the blade and the toe, you're thinking he's going to try to take advantage of no stick and maybe go upstairs. That's just one where I show that wedge part of the toe that leads to elevation, and then turn your hands and go low. Great save.
You know, he was looking for that spot you named on the glove side right at the elbow. But it keeps it a 2-goal Florida lead. Carolina going to work here in the Florida zone. Walker has a shove. And the Panthers just fling this one back to the Kane zone. Schmidt racing after it. Martinook beats him to it. He'll get it across for Orlov. This will be swept out of the Hurricane zone back into the Florida end. Now Stahl using that big frame on Bennett. Mikkola to Schmidt. He's stepped into by Jarvis. Into the corner it goes. Carolina wants to center it. Mikkola plays it out in front for Rodriguez. Svechnikov with a hit for Rodriguez. Bouncing puck. Jarvis trying to settle it down. Penalty coming up as Florida touches it, and Carolina will be getting their second man advantage here of this contest.
It might be Svechnikov.
Or is it going against Svechnikov?
Yeah, he had a collision with Nate Schmidt. And Svechnikov, who's been so disciplined in these playoffs, aside from everything else he's done.
Carolina 37, Monroe penalty, high sticking.
It was a high stick. Schmidt was on the receiving end. The dot to the left of Sergei Bobrovsky. Yeah, I mean, it's a penalty all day long. I mean, the puck is in the vicinity. He's trying to reach for the puck. It comes up on the visor of Nate Schmidt. And, I mean, Svechnikov has been so disciplined. Yep. No stick infractions. This is one where you had a good kill before Verhaeghe scored. That's all you care about here. But, Mike, if you have the opportunity, especially with Aho and Jarvis on the ice, to green light yourselves shorthanded, this would be a fine time.
Oh, it's a face-off win for Florida. Back to Jones. He dances along the blue line, then he'll get it to Ekblad. He'll dump it down low for Reinhart. Back for Ekblad. Middle of the ice. It's Jones. His drive from in between the blue line and the circles deflects wide, and Reinhart will get to it for Tkachuk in the corner. Watched by Slavin. Tkachuk gives it away for Stahl. And Stahl will flip this one into the Kane zone, and out comes Aho and Jarvis.
It's going to be tough to generate those shorthanded when you have two defensemen, both Ekblad and Jones, on this top Florida power play unit.
It's dropped back here for Barkov. Through the neutral zone with speed. Tries to get it to Tkachuk. Too far. This will bounce out in front. But here comes Carolina as Jarvis tracks it down. He'll get it to Aho. And there is what Chip was talking about. But Ekblad gives it away to Aho in the offensive zone for Carolina. Aho rims this one all the way around. Jarvis trying to get to it. He can't. A loose puck at center ice is sent rink wide and settled down by Seth Jones. 55 seconds left in the kill for Carolina. Now Reinhart. He'll carry it in, but lose it to Aho. It'll be scooped up by Schmidt, who hustles to his zone. He'll find Verhaeghe, who has the power play goal here tonight for Florida. Self-pass for Verhaeghe. He wants to center it, but Stahl is there, and Carolina will clear. 30 seconds away from killing off the high-sticking penalty to Andrei Svechnikov.
And a stylish kill.
As Bennett hands this one off, he'll get it right back. Bennett tries, shoots. Frederick Anderson flushes the leather, and he'll hang on the Bennett offering.
Florida has been very precise and effective at the offensive blue line. There you have speed. Brad Marchand, who is fully settled into Florida and then some, sells the fact that he's going to carry it in, rolls his hands over. Like I mentioned, Roslovic maybe could have done to go low on the shot. The grade A chance he had goes to Bennett. Good glove save there for Anderson.
Now Bennett will take the draw against Stahl. 15 seconds left in the kill for Carolina. And Bennett will win it back. Long drive, misses everything by Ekblad. Verhaeghe will come up with it in the corner. He'll get it to Bennett, back for Ekblad. His drive doesn't get through. And out of the box comes Svechnikov. Marchand, sharp angle shot, saved by Anderson. Rebound out in front. Marchand gets a piece, and Anderson keeps it out.
What a box out by Slavin in the process. That would have been like an extension of the power play. That would have been a dagger. Now can you get back after it offensively?
Now Svechnikov out of the box will draw a penalty as he was boarded right at center ice. 8:30 left here in the second period.
Well, take us to break. Get your lucky undergarments on because this is a power play. You need something coming up.
We'll hear the call first.
Florida penalty number 42, 2 minutes for cross-check.
It'll be a cross-check, and Carolina, with 8 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the second period, will get their second power play with a chance to get within one. Florida leading Carolina 3-1. You're listening to the Eastern Conference Final here on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline at 777-185-5543.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
8:30 left here in the second period. Carolina trailing Florida 3-1. Along with Chip Tracy, Mike Maniscalco here, and Carolina getting their second power play of this contest, and this is a big one, Trip. They need to find a way to carve into a 3-1 Florida lead.
They need composure. For me, Florida's looked more comfortable in this period. They need composure here.
Oh, they'll win the draw back for Gostisbehere. His drive. That'll be deflected, and that will go off the glass into the netting. So just 6 seconds off of the power play, and Carolina will get another offensive zone try here.
Aho is doing a nice job so far in his power play faceoffs. You shoot the puck right away. I talk about it all the time. You're looking for a tip in front. Now all of a sudden, if you win more draws, the puck movement can become available, but you're going to need a mature approach like Florida's had. You know, Florida gave up that late period goal. Didn't rattle him one bit. You need composure here.
Reinhart booted out of the circle. Carolina wins it. Svechnikov, top of the right circle. Back for Gostisbehere. He'll whip this one across, settle down here. As Jarvis has it. Back for Svechnikov to Gostisbehere. Svechnikov. He wants to play it in the corner for Aho, who does. Aho goes low to high himself. Now across for Gostisbehere. To the left circle, drag, shoots! And Bobrovsky makes the save and will hang on and get a face-off. 30 seconds gone by in this power play try.
Shane Gostisbehere kept moving his feet, got to the middle, challenged Bobrovsky halfway up on the glove side. Gostisbehere looks really good in this game. He has been dynamic. When I talk about calm, when I talk about comfort, when the stage gets bigger and bigger, he's a guy I'd like to see the rest of the group follow his lead because he has loved the moment so far.
Aho wins it back. Gostisbehere, Svechnikov shot. And that deflects. Into the corner boards it goes. Loose to Reinen with the deflection there. Canes will keep it in. Aho across the ice for Jarvis. Jarvis, he'll keep it in at the left point. Blake across for Aho. Aho, top of the right circle. 1:05 left in the power play. Aho finds Svechnikov. Svechnikov out in front! And Jarvis got a redirect and just missed the open net. And Kulikov labels Jarvis against the boards. Canes keep it in. Svechnikov through the circles. His shot's blocked. Scooped up by Aho. Svechnikov knocked down. No call. Looked like interference, but the Canes moving the puck. It's Gostisbehere. He'll get this one. Sent across. Svechnikov turns. His shot right on. Rebounds available. Now to be covered up by Bobrovsky. He's crashed into. And now we've got a couple of bodies pushing into each other.
Stay up high, though. If you're Blake and Jarvis, you want this offensive zone draw. Remember, you lost one on the previous power play. Svechnikov, I'll tell you, he got heavy heat that could have led to a 5-on-3 twice from his countryman, Kulikov. Didn't happen. You got to continue. Carolina's had good ozone time on their power play. Again, I think the hands and the puck movement isn't as settled as you want it to be, but Svechnikov skating into the umbrella saw Jarvis for an attempted one-hitter on the back door. It's too bad that Jarvis was on his backhand. He lofted it, trying to beat Bobrovsky high to the blocker's side. Just got slightly too much underneath it. Went about a foot over the net. Now Rod will go to the second group for the last 30 seconds.
7 minutes remaining here in the second period. Canes trailing 3-1 to the Florida Panthers. The Burns unit with Stankoven, Taylor Hall. Yes, Barry Kotkaniemi. And Jack Roslovic. Kotkaniemi waved out of the circle. Roslovic will take it. Clean win for Hall. His shot right on. And another outstanding save by Bobrovsky.
I mean, he is something. You know, the one goal that beats him, it's off a skate. You can't anticipate that.
I mean, that was what you want. A clean face-off win, and Hall loaded the cannon and went low glove side. Carolina keeping it moving across for Stankoven as they're back to work in the offensive zone. 3 seconds left in the power play. Florida will get to it. They'll send it the length of the ice. Out of the box comes Forsling, and it's 5-on-5.
When the guy they call Bob is dialed in like this, do not pass up sharp angle shooting opportunities. He's the icing on the play here to Florida. Going back to his time in Columbus, he's a different goalie now because he's a Stanley Cup champion. But when Carolina has had some success, and I'm just trying to, find a roadmap to find that success. As good as he is in the grade A district, there can be sharp angle offerings that he's not as committed to, maybe not being square, so don't pass up shooting chances.
Stahl wins it cleanly. Back for Orlov, and his shot right on. And Bobrovsky with another save. Traffic out in front. It was Carrier, and Florida taking exception to that.
That's the second time that Bobrovsky's been contacted. The first time for sure, and lost his footing. The first time for sure came from his own play. This one, I thought Carrier, after you won another draw clean leading to the Orlov chance, Carrier got pushed in by Kulikov. Carrier spun off of Kulikov to get to the net first. And that contact that Bobrovsky, he can thank his countryman Kulikov for it. Good stuff from Carrier getting there first.
Now Walker jumps in to keep it in. Spinning backhand try by Martinook, misses everything. Kept in, though, by Carrier. Wanted to find Martinook, bouncing puck. Will make his way for Carter Verhaeghe, and he's finished off by Stahl just on the other side of the red line. Not before Verhaeghe punched the puck deep into the Cane zone, but Carolina will come up with this one. As Sean Walker now gets it to Stahl. Sent across, and Sam Bennett with an outstanding defensive play to knock it away from Carrier. Kept in, though, as Walker gets to it. He'll get it to Carrier to Stahl. Stahl trying to settle it down. That'll be knocked away by Florida. Flip back into the Cane zone. Orlov watched by Tkachuk. Tkachuk will seal off Orlov. He'll come up with a puck, but then give it away to Dmitry Orlov. Orlov's pass knocked down. Forsling trying to make a play away from Aho. Aho makes the play to keep it in. But a rolling puck will find its way for Florida. 5:05 remaining here in the second period. Panthers lead the Hurricanes 3-1. Forsling can't keep that one in at the right point at the Canes' blue line. He'll send it in as Florida tags up. But a chance for Morrow to make a play. His pass will be deflected. It'll be knocked down at the Florida blue line. Greer had the good stick to deflect the pass. Now A.J. Greer banks this one in. Barkov goes after it. Morrow wants to play it around the boards. He does, but not out. Read there by Reinhardt. Carry it down low, but Morrow will get to it. Morrow, he'll drop it for Svechnikov. He'll draw a crowd behind the Canes net, and Reinhardt will come up with it. And he tries to feed the slot for Rodriguez, but he can't do anything with it. Carolina clears, only as far as the blue line, and sent back in.
That was terrific pressure from Barkov and Reinhardt on Svechnikov when he was behind Freddie Anderson's net. Heck of a job creating numbers and pressure points.
Now a pass deflected into the Kane zone. Reinhardt had it, lost it. Carolina wants to clear, kept in at the right point just for the moment. Now it's knocked back out. But Marchand will come up with it. Watched by Slavin. Slavin. He'll put this to the middle of the rink, but he knew Taylor Hall was there in front of his netminder. Now Hall with a little trouble with it, but he'll drop it back for Slavin. Never a bad idea in Carolina. We'll have Stankoven get a touch and roll this one into the Florida zone.
You have another late period goal like you had in the first to make it a one-goal game again. You have it in you.
3:25 left here in the second. It was Sebastian Aho. With 16 seconds left in the first. The only marker of this game for Carolina. Now Walker will keep it in. Across Orlov's shot. That's going to be blocked by Gadjevich. Kept in Walker. He'll get it back for Orlov. Back to Walker. Walker's shot. That'll be deflected as Luosterainen got a stick on that one, and that goes over the glass into the netting. 3:02 left here in this second period. The Canes down by 2. Florida leading Carolina 3-1. You're listening to the Eastern Conference Final on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network 99.9 The Fan. Canes fans, something big is happening this season. Our favorite hometown technology giant, Lenovo, is celebrating 20 years in the Triangle, and we're all getting in on the fun. Grab your jersey and meet us at the Lenovo Center, the new name of the home arena of the Carolina Hurricanes. The Lenovo Center is just a slap shot away from Lenovo's headquarters in the Triangle. Come celebrate and cheer on the Canes this season at the Lenovo Center.
Hey everyone, Adney and Burke here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit, the cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Who wants to save up to $1 a gallon on gas with Harris Teeter fuel points? It's easy. Shop at Harris Teeter with your Vic card. Earn 1 fuel point for every $1 spent. Redeem your points for gas savings at Harris Teeter fuel centers in our partnering Amoco and BP gas stations. You can even check your fuel points in the Harris Teeter app. Get 4 times the fuel points when you shop on Fridays. Harris Teeter, in food with love.
The Carolina Hurricanes win. They win at home. That's a big win for everybody. And thanks to the good folks at Chick-fil-A, when the Canes win at home during the playoffs, download the Chick-fil-A app to claim your offer for a free chicken sandwich by midnight. Available at participating Greater Triangle area restaurants. Canes don't need to find 2 goals to tie this game, Trip Tracy, as they're down 3-1 with 3:02 remaining here in the second.
Yeah, but they need a puck over the glass at some point, so you can say a lucky fan from a locale somewhere in North Carolina caught it. It's good things happen when you mention those covert towns in the Carolinas. That's what they need.
It all depends on the section. Luckily, I have some advanced scouting on where these fans are all sitting. Right now, I will take a goal any way the Canes can get it. As Florida wraps this one in off of the glass. Now they'll keep it into the Cane zone. Behind the net, but Slavin is there. His backhand pass. They'll come out and find Carrier. Carrier, he's been active in the physical department. He's got another hit there on Jones. That creates a turnover. Martinuk with a backhander, but Bobrovsky gets the glove to it, hangs on. Might have been going wide, but a chance there for Carolina with 2:25 left here in this second period.
Martineau couldn't settle that puck on the backhand. Carrier is doing a job of getting to the front of the net. And during the commercial break, because Freddie Anderson goes to the Carolina bench during a commercial timeout, and there's Matthew Tkachuk, one of the chirpers of all time. And I guarantee he's saying, hey, if they're coming at Bobrovsky, we're coming at you. And, you'd love him if he was on your team. I can guarantee you that. But I love what Carrier is doing of being able to get to the crease, legally so. I'd like to see the rest of the club be able to follow that lead, because he's done it a couple of times here in this period. There's a slight delay here in Bobrovsky's crease. Linesman working on probably a rut here late in the period.
Not a lot of shots on goal in this one trip, but there seems like there's been a lot of action, at least in front of Sergei Bobrovsky in this period, as Carolina's out shooting Florida 17-15 in the contest.
It's Matt McPherson, one of the linesmen, that's trying to fill that rut with snow. For me, there haven't been a ton of chances either, in this period. But Florida, because what their caliber is. They didn't get rattled by the Aho goal in the dying seconds of the first. They've looked more comfortable to me in this second period. Carolina's power play was good. You're getting to a point where you need results from it. It's early, but, to be nuclear, his goals are going to be hard to come by against this Florida club. And the two other things I'd mention here in this, again, second two-goal Florida lead, Mike, is as active and dangerous as their blue line has been, and the contribution that they've gotten when they've come off of Game 7 from their fourth line.
You bring up a really good point, that a team like Florida, the Canes have been like that this postseason and for a long time, being comfortable when the game gets uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's no question that Carolina has taken huge steps in that department. And it's, hey, don't kid yourself. It's a lot harder. It's more of a mental toughness thing when you're chasing the game. But they're playing against a team that ain't going to change the way they play, whether they're up or down. Carolina needs to be able to show that trait.
Roslovic wins the draw back. Morrow with a shot. Save made by Bobrovsky. Puck kicked into the corner. Hall trying to play it around. He'll get some help from Roslovic to keep it in just for the moment. Roslovic along the right wing boards. He's able to slap at it. He goes around the end boards. Hall lines up Forsling, and Stankoven will keep it in. Hall, he'll pirouette. He'll get it back. Gostisbehere quickly for Morrow. Morrow looking for a redirect, but his shot knocked down, and Florida can clear. As Lundell with a good knockdown there. Feels like Anton Lundell has been in the league for about 30 years.
As Florida general manager Bill Zito, actually, before he was a GM, he was a longtime agent and represented Lundell's father, Jan. So he started watching this current version of Lundell, and what a perfectly developed player, patiently so, going back to when Bill Zito represented his father.
I'll put it to you this way, it's 17 goals and 28 assists in the regular season. He's got 4 and 6 this postseason. That's a good find there. And now Carolina, can they find another late period goal? They had one in the first period. Sebastian Aho has this one kicked off of his blade. Mikkola will clear this one. And Florida will carry into the Canes zone. Bennett for Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe circles behind the Canes net. 1 minute remaining here in the second period. Jones with it. His high drive goes to the left of the net of Frederik Andersen. Carolina wants to clear the rebound. Jarvis plays it away from Bennett, up for Aho. Aho's got Svechnikov, and his pass deflected at the last second. Kulikov might have gotten a piece. Tkachuk was there. Carolina keeps it in. Long drive, and that is detected and hung on to by Bobrovsky as Sean Walker jumped into that one.
Sean Walker triggered the goal late in the first period. He nearly added to it. Svechnikov made a beautiful pass across the ice to Walker, the weak side defenseman. And you've got guys going to the front of the net, and you want to be able to get a stick on it. Because then Bobrovsky's thinking, is this coming in clean to my chest, or is it going to be a tip? Sooner or later, those tips will pay off if you get to the net.
Now Walker with another chance, and Bobrovsky got a piece in the rebound. Will be sent to the Cane zone, and will bring the puck back as Florida ices this one. Good hustle by Orlov. 30.6 seconds remaining here in the second period. Florida leads Carolina 3-1.
It's like Rob Brendamore will keep the Stahl line on the ice here. Aho's been good. This is where he could entertain the thought of finishing with Aho. They've been on the cusp. The Stahl line's been good.
And Stahl wins it. It goes back to Burns. Burns, he tries a low drive, and that misses just wide through the blue paint of Bobrovsky. Slavin keeps it in. Behind the net, Martinook. He'll get it to Stahl. Stahl, back for Burns. Left point, 15 seconds left. Burns moves to the middle of the ice. Tries to get the shot through. That's deflected by Barkov. And Florida can clear. Burns, he wanted to get it in deep. His backhand pass intercepted by Ekblad. Florida goes rink wide. A long drive by Barkov, and that is blocked. And that's where the horn will go as Martinook got in front of that try. And Florida, with the only goal in the second period, it's 3-1 Panthers after 40.
It's tough when you're chasing the game. But again, Florida's defense really have been dynamic. Mikkola on the Greer goal. Ekblad had one of their goals in the first period. And their fourth line coming off of Game 7. The veteran that Paul Maurice says, you knew that if they were going, the way they changed the series against Toronto, he'd lean on them big time. The best period of the night is going to have to be your third period. And Carolina, actually their best goal-scoring differential in these playoffs has been in third periods. Can they do it against the Stanley Cup champs?
We will find out after the second intermission. Adam Gold has your intermission report coming up. After 40, it's Florida 3, Carolina 1. You're listening to the Eastern Conference Final on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network on 99.9 The Fan.
Navy Federal Credit Union celebrates Military Appreciation Month in May. Whether you're active duty, a veteran, or a military family, we are all united this month to celebrate those who go above and beyond. As a credit union created for the military community, Navy Federal takes special care to ensure that our members feel celebrated and honored every day and every May. So from all of us at Navy Federal, happy Military Appreciation Month. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I am in studio with my friend Jeff Hoffman from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Windows. Everybody needs them, but we have a lot of different choices.
Yes, we do. We got double hung. We have the arch windows, all kinds of different shapes that we can do. We have slider windows, casement windows, and they come in several different colors, a lot to choose from. We'll come out, walk through the project with you, assess any kind of rotten wood, take care of that as well, and then install whatever you choose.
800-672-4348, aluminumcompany.com.
Enjoying the game? Hempy's can help. Hempy's is North Carolina's favorite hemp and CBD shop, and as long as you order before 9 p.m., local same-day delivery is absolutely free. Hempy's products are made with clean, natural ingredients, and each product is lab-tested to ensure quality and safety. Visit hempys.co to check out the inventory. And remember, orders placed before 9 p.m. get free same-day delivery. Or you can always stop by one of their 8 locations in North Carolina. Must be 21 or older to order. That's hempys.co.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center, 3-1 Florida after 40 minutes. Hurricanes have their work cut out for them. Carolina, with the Aho goal right at the end of the first period, you thought they'd have a little momentum coming out of the locker room. And I thought Florida was the better team right out of the gate in the second period. And then in transition, the Panthers' fourth line took advantage of Carolina's fourth line. Jackson Blake went to the wrong guy defensively, sort of stopped skating as well, and Carolina's third pair of Shane Gostisbehere and Scott Morrow couldn't stop A.J. Greer's second goal of the game. Nosek to Mikkola, across to Greer. It was a 3-on-2 that became a 2-on-1, and Freddie Anderson hung out to dry, did the best he could. But that made it 3-1. Hurricanes had a few chances the rest of the way. They had a power play that actually generated some good looks. Seth Jarvis had the best chance, probably on a deflection that looked like it went high, but it's possible that Bobrovsky got a piece of it. But the best chance in the period was Jack Roslovic in the dead slot with Sergei Bobrovsky without a stick, and Bob made a glove or pad save to keep it a 3-1 game. We will listen to highlights in a 3-1 game. Florida in the lead over Carolina after 2 next.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen. And this is Sarah Beth. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese.
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
For almost a decade, the Hurricanes have trusted their t-shirt needs with Cardinal Apparel. Carolina Hurricanes alumni Shane Willis here to tell you Cardinal Apparel has expanded and relocated to better serve their clients across the state. Formerly known as Raleigh Screen Print, Cardinal Apparel will produce high-quality screen printing while working directly with customers. Don't waste your time online trying to order through third-party vendors. Save money and time working with Cardinal Apparel. Visit cardinalapparel.com to start your order today.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes.
3-1 Florida after 40 minutes. I am Adam Gold. This is the Lenovo Intermission Report. And let's get to the highlights that are brought to you by Spectrum. A connection built for everywhere. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum. It's already 3-1. Panthers at this point. Sergei Bobrovsky without a stick. Doesn't matter. Jack Roslovic robbed.
No stick for Sergei Bobrovsky.
Now out in the slot, Bobrovsky makes the save as Roslovic let a missile go. And no stick, it was no problem for Bobrovsky.
What a save.
Left pad save kept it 3-1. Then Carolina on the power play. Jarvis in front. Svechnikov tries to find his stick.
Svechnikov out in front, and Jarvis got to redirect him. Just missed the open net. And Kulikov labels Jarvis against the boards. Canes keep it in.
Yeah, that could have been a goal. Jarvis's tip was just off target. And then Andre did have a chance later on in the period.
Svechnikov turns his shot right on. Rebounds available. Now to be covered up by Bobrovsky. He's crashed into. And now we've got a couple of bodies pushing into each other.
Stay up high, though. If you're Blake and Jarvis, you want this offensive zone draw.
Yeah, that actually happened to Carolina in the first period. Everybody came crashing down, and what should have been an offensive zone faceoff came out of the zone. It is 3-1. We will talk things over with Luke DeCock next.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center, 3-1 Panthers after 40 minutes. Luke DeCock, News and Observer. You can follow him on Blue Sky at Luke DeCock. One team's been here, been beyond here. The other team has gotten here twice in the last 3 years, but hadn't won a game at this level yet. Is that what we're seeing a little bit of so far through 40?
No, I just think the Hurricanes just aren't on their game. I don't think that those circumstances have much to do with it. Maybe it's the layoff. You're playing a team that's basically playing the fourth and fifth periods of a Game 7. You've been off for 5 days. Neither of your series were at this level of intensity, quite frankly. They've been jumpy at times. They've been too cute at times. They have not played. I mean, I can't imagine Rod Brindamore is happy with very much of this. They haven't played their straight line attacking aggressive game. And also give the Panthers credit. They've done a good job of diffusing some of that. And the Panthers haven't had a ton of chances, but man, they finish when they get them. And the Hurricanes don't. Or haven't, I should say. They have it at times during the playoffs. Tonight they haven't. So this feels like Game 5 of the 2023 Conference Finals. As we know, the last time they won a game in this round was June 1st, 2006. Yep. Been a bit of a while. But Eric Stahl and Eric Cole are here tonight. They are. So they were there that night as well. So was Rob Brindamore. But I think through 40 minutes, the Hurricanes just only in brief segments have been able to play their game. And then, you get called for a bad penalty. That ends up in your net. Your captain turns the puck over 10 feet from your net. That ends up in your net. Other than that, it's a 1-1 game, and you haven't played very well. So, they've outscored the opposition 16-6 in the playoffs in the third period in overtime. So they put themselves in a position. Obviously, they were down against the Devils as well in Game 5, although that was earlier. They need to get on their game. They need to get the puck in deep, especially against the Kulikov pairing. He looks a little rattled. And they need to, get the Panthers defenseman turned around, get some possession in the zone. And frankly, get some more shots up. They have 20. I wouldn't say a ton of them have been great. A few of them have. The Roslovic chance was good. Aho had a breakaway. Jarvis had a good look. Obviously, that they did score the goal, but they just need to
use
get
their
to their
skates
game.
more, Luke.
They have to skate more, get forward.
Use the skates as opposed to the sticks.
Well, they need to use both of their skates more because they need to be more aggressive. They need to move forward. They need to stop with the sideways passing and the backwards passing and do what they do best, which is apply pressure and attack. They haven't done that consistently in this game.
Even in the first period, where I actually thought Carolina was I thought they were better in the first than they were in the second, the Hurricanes. Even though they gave up the 2 goals, they allowed nothing.
Yeah.
Florida created 0 chances at 5-on-5. The one chance they ended up was, you talked about the Stahl turnover. That turnover, Scott Morrow kind of in between, either get out of the way and let Freddie see the shot, or do something more, get closer to, who was it, Ekblad, to deflect it. But Florida generated nothing on their own. They did generate that scoring chance on their own in transition early in the third period. Carolina, second period, right. We haven't played the third period yet.
Morrow gets caught there too, but he's sort of helpless.
Yeah, I thought there was nothing he could have done. Yeah. To me, Jackson Blake stopped skating, and he went to the wrong guy defensively, but also he was the deepest forward, and he was the only one who was even close to coming back.
It was a breakdown, and that's not something the Hurricanes do often, but it was sort of symptomatic of the way these 2 periods have gone. Now, I think Freddie's been fine despite giving up 3 goals. He had a couple of big saves. And I give them credit for this. They have gotten into Bobrovsky's crease, more probably in this game than they did in all 4 games in 2023. They've gotten close. They've been on his toes. They've been pushed into him a number of times, which is the best way to contact a goalie. If you're going to do it because you get pushed into him. He obviously was stickless on the Roslovic chance where he got his glove on it. Now,
that was a great save.
Roslovic's got to shoot blocker side there. You cannot shoot. When the guy doesn't have his stick, you can't, but, whatever. Did
he glove it or did he pat it down?
I think he gloved it. At first, I thought it was an old-school kick save. I think he got it at the bottom of the glove. But either way, it's a great chance, and those are the kind of chances that can change a game or a series. And Roslovic has finished those this year, so it's not like he's been, at 22 goals, and it is what it is. But, if they can get to their game in the third period, they've shown in these playoffs that they can make a game of it. But they've got to make this harder on the Panthers than they have.
In the first game these two teams played this year, the Saturday, I think it was the Friday after Thanksgiving, Carolina was down 3-1, came back to tie it, ended up losing it in the third period, but came back to tie it. And Carolina has been a rallying team so far in these playoffs. 30 seconds. What do you want to see? Do you think Rod will change anything since Carolina hasn't generated a ton of scoring chances?
Yeah, I think he will. I might rearrange the Stahl and Roslovic lines a little bit, or Kokiemi lines a little bit. Jordan Martinook just looks like he's laboring a little bit. The shot he took off the foot in whichever game it was, game 3 of the Capitals series. It looks like it's caught up with him a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But look, you're down 2 goals. You got to find something. So whatever you have to do to get people going, when you're at home, I think you can be a little more offensive with things and maybe stack things a little more. So I would not be surprised. That said, I don't think that's necessarily been the issue. It's been, up and down the roster.
Luke Takak. On Blue Sky, not at Blue Sky, maybe. On Blue Sky, at Luke Takak. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we'll be back with a check of the NHL scoreboard after these words from your local stations on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is the gift for every adventurer. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in Raleigh's Village District. Voted Best Jeweler. Learn more at BaileyBox.com.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available ProPower on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Adam Gold inside Lenovo Center, 3-1. 20 minutes to go in regulation in this one for Carolina. No other scores right now, but if we did have other scores, they would be brought to you by Lenovo, official technology provider of the Carolina Hurricanes. Tomorrow, Game 1, Western Conference Finals. It'll be Dallas hosting Edmonton. Mikko Rantanen, 9 goals to lead all scorers in the postseason. Andrei Svechnikov just one behind. We could use an Andre goal coming up in the period. Carolina's winning the faceoff battle, but it isn't doing them any good. They have 20-15 edge in shots on goal. Hits goes to Carolina. Block shots are equal. Scoring chances are not. They're really in favor of the Hurricanes, but they haven't finished enough of theirs. Bobrovsky has made a couple of big saves, and that's why it is 3-1 Panthers. I am Adam Gold. Mike Maniscalco and Trip Tracy will be along with the third period. And we'll see you after 3, maybe in front of 4. But if it's after 3, maybe the Hurricanes will have come back and gathered this one in the win column. Mike and Trip will have the third period next.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hockey is a game of speed, and the Triangle is one of the fastest-growing regions in the country. At the center of the excitement are Lenovo and the Carolina Hurricanes, partnering to unveil the Lenovo Center. With one of its global headquarters in the Triangle, Lenovo is the perfect partner to launch a new era of technology and fun. Don't miss out. Come check out the Lenovo Center and cheer on the Canes.
Who wants to save up to $1 a gallon on gas with Harris Teeter fuel points? It's easy. Shop at Harris Teeter with your Vic card. Earn 1 fuel point for every $1 spent. Redeem your points for gas savings at Harris Teeter fuel centers in our partnering Amoco and BP gas stations. You can even check your fuel points in the Harris Teeter app. Get 4 times the fuel points when you shop on Fridays. Harris Teeter, in food with love.
It's game day for your Canes. Presented by John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan.
During all road games this postseason, the Carolina Ale House in Cary is offering the ultimate viewing experience for all fans. Be sure to join Stormy and the gang at Carolina Ale House in Cary for the next watch party happening Saturday night, Game 3 down in Florida. Carolina Ale House, exclusive sponsor of the Canes playoff watch parties. Alongside Trip Tracy, Mike Maniscalco here on your Hurricanes Radio Network. Third period, Canes are trailing 3-1 as we get ready to start the third frame of game number 1 in the Eastern Conference Final. Trip.
Carolina, their most recent third period goal, the series clincher, well, the empty netter, and now is outscoring teams in the third stanza 15-5, Florida 17-10. That's the biggest goal differential for Carolina in any period so far.
As we're underway here in the third, Carolina will deflect this one into the Florida zone. As Martinook will get to it behind the net, watched by Barca. Spun into the corner. Stahl wanted to get it back for Slavin, but Jones intercepts. And it'll be knocked back into the Florida zone after they cleared for a moment. Now Carrier, he is stepped into there by Reinhart. Carolina trying to play it off the back of the net. They do, and it'll be scooped up by Rodriguez. He'll clear it. Only across the blue line. Slavin to it. He will wrap this one around the boards. Florida to it. It'll be knocked down by Martinook. Kulikov has to play it around Svechnikov. And away comes Florida. Gaining center ice is Rodriguez. They'll hammer this one around the boards. Carolina will has Orlov clear it. Knocked back in by Florida, but Orlov is right there to knock it down. And he works up for Roslovic. Jack Roslovic. He releases this one in. Bobrovsky plays it around the boards, but Hall's there to send it back to the other way. Marchand waiting for it along the far boards. It comes out for Roslovic in his long drive. Sharp angle there, handled by Bobrovsky. Carolina wants to keep this one in. They do. Roslovic. He'll go around the boards for Hall. Hall sends it back the other way. Walker gets to it at the right point. His shot misses everything. Rebound, though, to Roslovic out in front. And at the last second, Stankoven was tied up by Lundell.
Boy, that's a heck of a stick there from Lundell. He had lost the box out, but the stick did the rest. Jones made a similar play in the first period, this end of the rink on Stankoven. 2 goals have been saved. Jones and Lundell.
Now Carolina completing a line change. Burns fans on the shot, but it works out as Slavin will get to it. It turns into a pass. Aho now diagonal back for Slavin. Out in front, rebounds in the slot. Canes trying to get to it. They can. Aho back for Slavin. Slavin feathers this one down the left wing boards. Mikkola knocked down by Jarvis. Jarvis, he'll come up with a puck. Tries to get it to Aho, who slides it to Bobrovsky, and he'll cover and get a whistle. 17:41 left here in this third period. Canes trailing Florida 3-1.
Mike, Aho specifically in his line has been dangerous. They're just beating the puck up. And so they're not getting rewarded for how they played in this game. Aho specifically, he's got 5 shots through 2 periods. If Carolina is going to do something special here and claw back into this game, his third period history, he's going to be all over it. But that's a situation where you create a chance because they've been hounding pucks, and it doesn't get cleanly to the net. Look at the clean nature of Florida's first and third goals. Verhaeghe and then Greer's. Carolina just hasn't been clean with their hands.
Gostisbehere with a good keep in at the left point. He sends it in deep, but Florida is able to get to the loose puck. And Greer sends this one around the boards. Carolina deflects it out. And Robinson, he makes a nice play to the near boards, but the bouncing puck settled down by Nate Schmidt. He gets it as far as center. Carolina back on it. Taking a look is Blake. He'll play this one, and it takes an odd hop away from Bobrovsky. And Florida has Schmidt there to pound this one off the boards. Blake takes it away from Reinhart. Kotkaniemi settles it down, and he'll go back for Gostisbehere. As the Kotkaniemi line goes for a change, Gostisbehere's pass deflects in, and Stahl will get to it. That'll be worked back. Carrier wanted to get to it, but his pass goes off of a leg, and Ekblad's able to get it free. Now Barkov carries it into the Kane zone. He's met just inside the blue line by Martinook. A low drive is put on by Rodriguez. Deflected over the top of the Canes net. And it goes into the corner. Reinhart will come up with it. Sam Reinhart. Ekblad through traffic out in front. Loose puck. Stahl comes back to get the puck to safety and out of the zone. It'll be picked up here by Forsling. He goes around the boards off the glass. Stahl with it. He goes back for Burns. Now Slavin up for Stahl. Stahl finds Hall. Taylor Hall with speed into the Florida zone. He'll spin that to the corner. Martinook stays on the ice. Hall gets to it, sends it to the opposite corner, but Scott Morrow had jumped to the middle of the rink, so this comes out of the zone. Now Morrow's back in pass. Too far. Reinhart will get to it. He'll send this one for Luosterainen. Into the corner it goes. Gostisbehere has a shove for the former Carolina Hurricane, and loose puck behind the net. All the way back to get it is Carolina and Hall. This is going to be icing on a skate race. They give Forsling the win over Stankoven. Bring the draw back into the Cane zone. 15:35 left here in the third.
Another nice play from Mikkola. I remember when he got traded, 6'6", and he can skate. I remember when he got traded from the Blues to the Rangers. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. You trade a guy that has this size that can skate. And Florida's made a ton of smart moves. You know, he set up to go in the second period, just got a puck right up the ice to Brad Marchand. A big blue line that could skate.
And now this could be a delay of game penalty. And it won't be as, yes, no, it will be.
It is.
2 minutes for delaying of game.
Blake had the puck just inside the Carolina blue line on the bench side of the rink. And he tried, Scott Morrow. And he tried to go across the ice. Tkachuk was pressuring him. He's actually pretty deep in the Carolina zone, near the top of the circle. Tkachuk pressures him. And that puck goes all the way across the ice and out into the spectator area.
And with that delay of game, it's the third time Carolina has been shorthanded here. Florida 1 for 2 on the man advantage. And for Morrow, that's his first penalty in this postseason. This is his first ever postseason game. And now Carolina fortunate there as Slavin had a stick break, but they're able to clear. Slavin heads to the bench and wisely makes a change as the Canes keeping Florida out of their zone. Now Jones will carry it in. Reinhart down the boards for Seth Jones. Behind the net it's Barkov. He spins a pass back, but Tkachuk can't handle it. Out of the zone it goes. 45 seconds have elapsed in the penalty to Morrow. Now Aho will come up with it. And he will speed this one on the backhand into the Florida zone. Nice play made there by Jarvis, but Jones gets there first. They'll work it for Bennett. Sam Bennett into the Cane zone. He'll crisscross. Go to the left wing board, send it around, and Tkachuk let it go, thinking somebody was behind him, and that'll be a clear for Carolina.
I know that Florida got a power play goal back in the first period, Barkov to Verhaeghe. But so far, they really haven't had any chances, including that one. They cashed on the one they got.
Well, now they get an opportunity out in front as Bennett will pitch that one just wide. Marchand wants to get to it. Back for Bennett. Around the boards. It'll be Rodriguez. He'll leave it for Bennett. Bennett to the middle of the rink. He scores! With traffic in front of Anderson and 23 seconds left on the power play, Florida extends their lead. It's 4-1. Their second power play goal of the game. And Sam Bennett continues to stay hot this postseason. That's his 7th goal.
Carbon copy of their power play that started the scoring in this Eastern Conference Final. You hadn't really had a chance. Not even a sniff. Carolina's just about through the kill. But Rodriguez had a nice interchange up top to Bennett. Brad Marchand, a really good net front. I think it went clean in. Marchand, not only a good net front, Rodriguez also was close to getting a piece after getting it to Bennett. I think that'll be Bennett's goal. But 2 layers of net front, potential tips, screens in Rodriguez and also Brad Marchand. And that's just a killer because those are 2 kills where you hadn't given up a sniff.
Carolina with a chance right off of the draws. Blake puts it on. Kicked away by Bobrovsky into the corner. Blake tries to get to it for the loose puck. Will be skated away by Lundell to the blue line, and it's chopped down neatly there by Burns. Bouncing puck, saddled. Well, they'll say offside is Carolina. And now some pushing and shoving, but nothing will come of that. 13:27 left here in this third period. 2 power play goals for Florida in this one. They've built a 4-1 lead with 13:27 left here in the third period. You're listening to the Eastern Conference Final on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
Hey everyone, Adney and Burke here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Burke and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen. And this is Sarah Beth. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese.
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
For almost a decade, the Hurricanes have trusted their t-shirt needs with Cardinal Apparel. Carolina Hurricanes alumni Shane Willis here to tell you Cardinal Apparel has expanded and relocated to better serve their clients across the state. Formerly known as Raleigh Screen Print, Cardinal Apparel will produce high-quality screen printing while working directly with customers. Don't waste your time online trying to order through third-party vendors. Save money and time working with Cardinal Apparel. Visit cardinalapparel.com to start your order today.
13:27 left in the third. Alongside Trip Tracy and Mike Maniscalco here, our dynamic duo of engineers. John Brockwell here in the booth with us. Rusty Helzer back in master control in Raleigh. And Canes have got to find a way, Trip, right now, trailing 4-1, to get something on the board and make life a little bit more uncomfortable for Sergei Bobrovsky.
Well, you know, the reality is the 2 power play goals from Florida, it just shows, you know, how opportunistic that they are. The sign of a champion. But from this point forward, later, you know, as this game unfolds, it's a tall hill to climb.
Yep.
You're going to have to prove you've got the finish. You've got the skill level, wherever it comes from, to be able to find the back of the net in an Eastern Conference final.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of looks. Florida doesn't need many looks. They've got finish and they've shown it. That's a storyline that starts for me right now.
Well, there's still a lot of road left in this one, but it is uphill with 12:50 remaining here. Slavin with a drive and just inside the left wing boards there inside the blue line, and Bobrovsky with a save, a big rebound.
Yeah, that's why I like those sharp angled shots. You just didn't have anybody driving the front of the net. That rebound shouldn't happen. Sometimes he just takes his foot off the gas, as great as he is on those sharp shots. If you got a guy driving on that Slavin rebound.
Now this will be deflected into the Canes zone. Carolina will steer it out. Mikkola, though, just inside his blue line. We'll get to it. And Florida finds a way to deposit this one back into the Canes zone. Jarvis with it at center ice. He'll take a hit from Ekblad. Svechnikov with it. He's on the other side of center ice trying to feed Aho with a backhand pass, and that will be icing on Carolina. And this is where Florida becomes dangerous, Trip, because they will be content to just take time off of the clock.
Hey, listen. If you could ever do something special here, chasing Florida by 3 goals, even in your own building, I mean, it could be the turning point in the whole series, even in Game 1. But in the remainder of this one, and moving into Game 2, bottom line is you're going to have to find a way to find finish in an Eastern Conference final. Carolina's been maybe the more physical team. They've had looks. They're facing an A-plus level goaltender. You got to find the finish. And I do think Chatfield, who skated today, you're really hopeful that he might be available come Game 2, because you miss him big time.
You know, Gostisbehere avoids the hit of Lundell. He'll get the puck right now, and he'll fire it off of Marchand. And Marchand wants to fight Gostisbehere behind the play. And Gostisbehere takes down Marchand, and now they're going to go. Back up, and then Marchand throws down Gostisbehere. And all that came in from, as Gostisbehere was trying to get the puck in deep, it hit Marchand. He takes exception.
I think it could be an instigator. You know, Marchand clearly is the guy that wanted that altercation.
Yep.
From his standpoint, hey, that's the right time to do it, you know, with a 4-1 lead. With that being said, Mike, I think at the very least Carolina gets a power play out of this. And if you're going to do anything magical here with 11:45 to play down 3 goals, your power play has to kickstart it all. At the very least, I saw Marchand as the initiator of this bout right at the Carolina blue line with Gostisbehere. But you're going to lose Gostisbehere if you get a power play.
And we'll see how this shakes out. We're waiting for the announcement. Eric Furlat is now consulting Kelly Sutherland with the help of the linesman.
As you said, Gostisbehere, it was just his clearing attempt that hit Brad Marchand. And then Marchand comes with a cross-check to the face that didn't land because Gostisbehere protected it. And so then off they go. So at the very, very least here, I'd be stunned if Carolina doesn't come out of this with a power play. You understand Brad Marchand doing it based on the fact they've got a 3-goal lead to an extent. Carolina deserving of a power play here. You know, this could kickstart everything. This is what you need. Remember when Carolina was down 3-0 against New Jersey? Different team, different time. Their power play started that whole 4-goal second period. So I'll tell you what, I'd be shocked here if these are coincidental penalties.
Brad Marchand is now given the gate out of the penalty box, and he's making his way to the locker room. Here's the call.
Carolina, 2 minutes for walking. Florida, 4 minutes for walking. You're going to make misconduct.
Okay, so you get the power play out of it. Marchand gets tacked with a 10. Gostisbehere went to the dressing room. He just got 2, right? So he won't be on this power play. It's going to be Walker. And it's they're getting together right now because Walker's a righty, Gostisbehere's a lefty. That changes things on your power play. And so there's a meeting of the minds from all 5 guys just inside the Florida blue line right now, how you're going to adjust with your quarterback being a righty, not a lefty. There's nobody in the Carolina box.
For Carolina, their power play 0 for 2.
You don't come back in this game if you don't score here.
It's bounced around the Florida zone, and Carolina will scoop it up. Walker keeps it in just inside the blue line, and then it's taken away. And Reinhart with it. You got to be careful with Reinhart. An outstanding short-handed player in the regular season. We'll carry this one deep into the Kane zone, and then it'll spin its way out in front. Barkov was hit by Svechnikov, and away comes Carolina. Svechnikov tries to loop a pass in, but that'll be deflected away, and Barkov with it. Barkov trying to go one-on-one. Walker defends him. He's got some help from Blake. They both take out Barkov, and Aho will go after the puck behind his net with 40 seconds gone by in this power play. 9 minutes has elapsed here in the third period. Carolina trailing 4-1. Svechnikov around the boards. It bounces on Aho, and this will be sent all the way back into the Kane zone.
In other words, the adjective, the 2 that come to mind, Mike, hyper and antsy. That's what Carolina's been in critical times and critical situations with the puck. You got to find a way to settle yourself, even with this big stage. I think those are the 2 adjectives that pop to me, hyper and antsy.
Now it's Kotkaniemi with it. He'll drop it, and Carolina finds their way in the zone. Hall will drop this one back. Stankoven quickly across, and that opportunity's pitched wide of the net of Bobrovsky. Stankoven will keep it in, though. He'll get it to Roslovic. Kotkaniemi back to Roslovic. Stankoven bumps it back, but Burns was out of the zone.
You create a one-timer for Kotkaniemi. It just doesn't even approach coming clean off the stick.
Now Stankoven with it. Carolina back in the attack zone. 14 seconds left on the power play. Burns his pass. Will get across for Roslovic. It was deflected. Settled down. 7 seconds left. Now Kotkaniemi sends it across. Hall can't handle the pass, and Rodriguez will skate it away, and he'll come into the Kane zone. He'll get a little backhander on, and Anderson has to make the save. And the penalty to Brad Marchand is over. He's not coming back. He's got a 10-minute misconduct. Now Stahl takes a pass. He tries to go around Mikkola, looking for an outlet. This will be knocked away and all the way back into the Kane zone. And it's going to hit a stick that is back there. That allows Verhaeghe to race in, but Carrier will get to it first. Up for Slavin. Now Stahl. He finds Martinuk. Martinuk trying to work around Jones. He does. He'll get it back. Walker, Martinook, Slavin with it. Through traffic, Bobrovsky makes the save as he's on the edge of his blue paint. Now Florida will deflect this one to the middle of the ice. And Mikkola, the defenseman, skates it to center, and he'll hammer this one in. Tkachuk has a hit for Slavin as Carolina clears the zone. Now Svechnikov with it, with some space. Greer comes back. Good defensive play by A.J. Greer on Andrei Svechnikov, and he'll clear this one back into the Hurricane zone. Now gaining the Florida line was Svechnikov. And his pass deflected all the way back in the Canes' end. Orlov. He'll get it for Burns. Roslovic's pass is intercepted. That drive blocked by Burns. He has an opportunity there for Gadjevich, developed out of nowhere. Well, now the clock really going to become an enemy for Carolina. Orlov. He'll cross his way into the Florida zone, but loose puck. Forsling knocks it forward for Reinhart. He drops it for Ekblad. And forward in the Canes zone. There's a high drive and save made by Anderson.
Now Barkov had the shot. He's just done what Barkov does in this game. The key assist on the all-important first goal. Late in that power play to Verhaeghe in the first period. Never cheats the game.
Now Barkov out in front. Bodied by Kotkaniemi. Barkov, though, will hang on to the puck. Oh, good defensive play by Jesperi Kotkaniemi. One-armed Barkov and freed the puck, and Carolina can clear. 7:35 left here in the third period. 4-1. Panthers on top.
You're not generating a lot. You're probably just under 2.5 minutes away from starting to think about lifting the goalie.
Walker works this one in. Stahl's drive deflected by Kulikov as the last second. Stahl will get to it. Stankoven. He stepped into by Kulikov. And Florida gets a clear. Luosterainen with the opportunity there. Puck into the Cane zone. Knocked out to center ice. Luosterainen will send it back in, and Anderson leaves it there for Burns. Watched by Tkachuk. Burns for Stahl. Stahl around Nosek into the Florida zone. Stahl hanging on to the puck. Guerrier behind the net out in front. It'll come back. Orlov will keep it in. His low drive wide.
Nice defensive play from Nosek, who had one of the assists on the Greer goal in the second period. Again, the effort and the trust in that fourth line. They've been difference makers.
Now Orlov with it at the left point. Across. The shot doesn't get through. Second chance for Slavin. That's deflected just wide. Orlov. He'll get the keep in. Looking for Slavin. No, Orlov will take it. Fakes the shot. Orlov's second opportunity. Breaks the stick of Gadjevich. Can Carolina take advantage? Gadjevich, he's heading to the bench for a new piece of equipment. Back for Slavin. His shot just misses. Rebound comes all the way wide. And Reinhart will skate with it. Now he's backing off Slavin. What a play by Jacob Slavin. As Reinhart had a head of steam, and Slavin just knocked it away from him like it's practice. Now the puck behind the Canes' net. Reinhart stepped into by Slavin. Aho can clear it out. Bouncing puck. That'll be scooped up by Rodriguez. He'll turn it into the Cane zone. Rodriguez loses an edge. This puck is wound behind the net. Barkov, he loses the stick. Good play by Walker. Slavin, he backhands one out. And they'll say no icing as Ekblad has to play it. So Aho can get a bump on the Florida defenseman.
You're already, if you get possession in the offensive zone, approaching the 5-minute remainder mark, thinking about Anderson, if you get possession.
Well, the Canes had it for a moment, then it was knocked away. Here's Bennett, tops of the circle. Anderson makes the save, then he draws the rebound back, and we'll jump on that one with 5:12 remaining here in the third period. A lot of heavy lifting left for Carolina, and not a lot of time to do it. Trailing the Florida Panthers 4-1 with 5 minutes, 12 seconds left in the third here in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. You're listening to Carolina Hurricanes playoff hockey on the Canes Radio Network.
To us, every moment matters. Moments of quiet perseverance and loud celebrations. Starting moments and the moments that make us feel unstoppable. We're here to help you be present for them all. UNC Health is dedicated to getting you back to what you love. Faster, stronger, and healthier. Official healthcare provider of the Carolina Hurricanes.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything's possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
5:12 left here in the third period. With Chip Tracy, Mike Maniscalco here on your Hurricanes radio network in a 4-1 lead to the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers here in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final. Trip.
Carolina's best period was their first period. Florida was opportunistic. You get that late goal. Your second period's at home. I believe this is the first second period at home that Carolina's been outscored. Granted, it was just 1-0. Yep. But that's for me where the comfort level of Florida and that the energy's been there, but hyperactivity, specifically with the skill required at this stage of the playoffs, that's where Florida did not get rattled. Carolina couldn't build on it in the second period like they have in seconds here at home.
Florida wins the offensive zone. Draw in front to score. As Evan Rodriguez will make that hit to Lusterinen. Hammers this one home. Forsling on a clean draw. Got it back. And then a beautiful setup. Nosek to Lusterinen. And it is 5-1 Florida.
That is a different looking group because Nosek and Lusterinen do not typically play together. Nosek does a tremendous job using the back of the net. Before Gostisbehere, who's back after that altercation with Marchand, came in to seal him, he took a peek out of his left eye. He saw Lusterinen. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with the difference in hands in this game. That puck jumped off of Lusterinen's stick. Looked like back bar on the glove side. 3 goals, that one's unstoppable. But high to the glove. And that's what I'm talking about. Move into game 2. You're going to have to find a way to exhibit the skill level and specifically the finishing ability that Florida has tonight. It's Carolina, especially in that first period, they had a ton of looks. But whether it's nerves at the moment, whether it's rust, they practiced yesterday and Sunday, that ability to settle your hands is going to be paramount come Thursday night.
Head to Lusterinen with his 4th of the playoffs. And now Robinson with a backhand chance that Bobrovsky sees. And he'll pounce on that with 4:30 left here. 5-1 Florida in the lead.
Mike, in reality, this is going to be 1 loss in a 7-game series. And by the way, you've been a good road team in the playoffs. Florida is much better, at least so far, on the road than they've been at home. The whole hockey universe is going to assume, but it is 1 game, that this is a master class from the Stanley Cup champs. You're going to be in a truly underdog spot. If you can regroup, love to see Chatfield back. That's not a bad spot to be in. But you're going to have, I already look at Thursday night as it's a must win.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're playing the Stanley Cup champions. But, in particular in that first period, Carolina, all sorts of things right. But they were beating the puck up. And, the first goal, which for me is the biggest one, you just about got through a penalty kill. You were giving up nothing. Barkov finds Verhaeghe, and there it goes.
And looks like we're going to get another power play here for Carolina with 4:15 left.
Penalty roughing.
Now this is when teams with the cushion now at 5-1, this is the right time to send messages. Gadjevich did. he did on Morrow. You know, and let me speak for a second about Morrow. It's a tough spot for a second-year player who's come a long ways. My hope, big-time hope, Chatfield on the ice today, he's going to be in the lineup Thursday night. If he's not, I understand 3 lefties, 3 righties on your back end, but I'd give Nikishin another shot if Chatfield can't go.
Now, Gostisbehere hammers one, and saves made there by Bobrovsky. You'd like to see the Canes power play, maybe get one here and get some good feeling about it.
When the game was much more contested, I know it's a results business, and it's going to become one moving towards Thursday, but I liked their first 2 power plays. I liked it, but I just think with their good looks and puck movement, they couldn't settle the puck down to be able to finish.
Gostisbehere flings this one and going to be caught and hung on to by Bobrovsky.
Look at the cleanness of Barkov to Verhaeghe. First period as well. Rodriguez to Ekblad, 2-0. No shit to Mikkola to Greer. Clean finish. There, Nosek to Luostarinen. Big difference in how the pucks, especially in the shooting capacity, have popped off the floor to sticks. Carolina's beat them up. They've had chances. Well, they had chances in the first period. And those cash, it could be a different game.
Now Carolina will work this one around. Gostisbehere back to Aho. That's blocked by Forsling. Svechnikov to the rebound. Nice little bump pass here. Working with its Blake. Jarvis out in front. They score! A power play goal for Jackson Blake. And Carolina has made it 5-2.
That, Mike, was nice puck movement. Jarvis goes to Blake. I personally think that Blake has struggled to a solid degree since the first round against New Jersey. He cashes. Beautiful play from the goal line to Blake, who found a way to get to the front of the net first. Blake had really kept his feet moving. He was high in the zone. The puck actually got knocked off his stick. I think he was thinking about shooting it. Got knocked right to Jarvis. Jarvis, I think, recognized that Bobrovsky, it's rare he's done this tonight, overmoved. So Jarvis makes a nifty backhand pass back to Blake, and he scores on the forehand low. That just makes it 5-2, but that could be very significant for Jackson Blake.
And for the power play. As you mentioned, the first 2 were good. Came up with nothing, and that one had good puck movement for Carolina. And there's 3:25 left in this one. Canes need to pull a rabbit out of the hat. As Orlov has it across center. Bank this one around the boards. Schmidt, he's lined up by Martinook. Florida looking to clear and just dump this one back to center. Orlov will get to it. Another chance here. A long drive by Walker right on, and Bobrovsky will gobble that up.
If you haven't given up on this game, this is where you pull Freddie Anderson. 3 minutes and 1 second left. Commercial break to ponder it with an offensive zone draw coming out of it. If you haven't given up on it, this is where you're going to keep him on the bench.
Well, we will see if the Canes net will be empty and where this game is at. With 3:01 remaining here in the third, Canes trailing Florida 5-2 in Game 1 of this Eastern Conference Final here at Lenovo Center. You're listening to Canes Hockey on the Hurricanes Radio Network.
What? New scratch-offs are out? That means new chances to become a North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club member.
Yeah, in the Winners Club, I'll reinvent myself. I won't go by just plain Todd. I'll go by Toddrick. I'll get a gold jacket, play my saxophone again. I'll stop and smell the flowers, call my mom more.
Wrap it up, Todd.
It's Toddrick.
This month's scratch-offs pack over $100 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds winning range from 3.35 to 4.58. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey everyone, Adney and Verk here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit. The cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We all love cheering on the Hurricanes, and our Triangle neighbor Lenovo is giving us something else to cheer about. The global technology giant is going all in to enhance the fan experience at the Lenovo Center and support the transformative entertainment district, making it a one-stop shop for all things fun in the Triangle. Hockey, entertainment, food, and more. Check it out at the newly named Lenovo Center and Entertainment District, where celebration starts in the Triangle. See you there.
3:01 left in the third. Carolina trailing Florida 5-2. Empty net for Carolina for the extra attacker. And as they win the draw, Aho will center that one. It'll be pinballed back. Gostisbehere. He'll get it to Walker. Now Svechnikov. Back for Walker. That'll be set up. Aho trying to get the drive through. That's blocked. Florida will clear it. Rodriguez leaves a backhand back into the Cane zone as Florida knows time is of the essence of this one. 2.5 remaining in the third. Gostisbehere's pass will be deflected in. Chasing after it's Blake. Forsling will get to it. It's bodied down. Svechnikov with it. He'll peel it back for Walker. He goes across the rink. Gostisbehere. We'll pull it away from LaRousse. Get it out a little bit later. Here comes Walker. Walker with it. He'll send it back up top for Gostisbehere. Now across Aho's drive misses. Rebound comes to the left point. Kept in by Gostisbehere. Luosterainen will get to that one. I got to it finally. Now Svechnikov with it. He'll get this one across. Knocked in by Jarvis. Knocked out by Ekblad. Now a minute 45 remaining in this one. Canes down 3. Jarvis to it. Down the left wing boards. Back for Svechnikov. Svechnikov for Slavin. And this one back. Walker. Drive is detected by Bobrovsky. He'll make the arm save. Works back into the corner. Going for it's Blake. Jarvis plays it around Kotkaniemi for Walker at the right point. 80 seconds left. Kotkaniemi chipped out. Jarvis out in front. He had Blake. That'll be deflected just wide. Walker back for Slavin. Long drive. Rebound was available. Kicked out. Carolina will keep it in. Hall. Centering pass knocked away by Jones. 1 minute remaining here in game one. And that pass is deflected away. As Greer knocked it away from Hall. Carolina has to tag up. 50 seconds left in this one. Gadjevich will finish off Stankoven. Carolina will get the puck in deep. Hall wants to get to it. Still an empty net for Carolina. Gadjevich will roll it into the corner. Stankoven goes in. Played back for Roslovic. He'll get it to Burns at the right point. Across for Slavin. Slavin's drive deflected. And that goes over the glass into the netting with 27.1 left here in the third. And a reminder that game 2 will be coming up on Thursday night. Every start time, 8 o'clock, right here on your Hurricanes Radio Network.
Big question's going to be, can Jalen Chatfield go? And then the team question is going to be, are you able to find the balance, comfort of the investment, the energy required at this time of year, but simultaneously the ability to settle things down and be comfortable, in particular in shooting pucks?
A couple of loose pucks out in front. Carey with a backhand. Bobrovsky locates it. And he will cover and get a whistle with 16.5 remaining here in the third.
You know, back when the game was on the line, for me, the most dynamic players were Shane Gostisbehere on the back end and Will Carrier.
Yeah.
Carrier, who is, a former Stanley Cup champion. Again, when the game was truly being contested here in game 1, the Stahl, Martinook, Carrier line, they had some of the best looks.
A long drive from the point. That'll be snagged and hung on to by Bobrovsky on the Morrow offering.
Yeah, and for me, and this is no disrespect to a player with an incredibly bright future in Morrow, you need Chatfield. You need him. He's, very important to this team. On the ice again today, and, if he can't go, I'd give Nikishin another shot.
We will see come Thursday as the clock hits 0.
And the Florida Panthers take game number 1 of this Eastern Conference Final by a 5-2 score.
So the first period was Carolina's best, no question about it. I've mentioned repeatedly, I thought they beat the puck up. The first goal was a biggie. It was a tough for Aho to head to the box. He could have gotten a better outcome there when you were on the power play. But then when Florida went on their first man advantage, they had nothing. They had nothing, and Barkov from the half wall finds Verhaeghe, short side goal. There's no question Bobrovsky won the goaltending position here in this game. That will have to be reversed. Talked about the necessity to be hopeful to get Chatfield back in the lineup. But the biggest thing for me, Mike, will be this is a Carolina team that everybody questioned if they were going to be able to score goals at the beginning of the season. And they scored goals. They had no problem scoring goals. The production went down a little bit against Washington. They scored against New Jersey, but they're going to have to prove, from their forwards in particular, that they have the ability to finish, even if it's a guy of the stature of Sergei Bobrovsky. And for me, again, that is a combination of their physicality, their intensity was there, but whether it be their passing in the first period, their good shooting opportunities, that it didn't come off their sticks clean in comparison to Verhaeghe, Ekblad, Luosterainen here in the third period. Look at how much cleaner Mika Greer in the second period. Look at how much cleaner those offensive opportunities were for Florida. And that'll have to shift the other way in game 2, partner.
Well, we will see, as there is only a day between every game in this series. So same two teams will be back at it. It'll be Thursday night, 8 o'clock. It'll be our coverage starting with Adam Gold, and then I'll drop the puck about 8:08. We will be here on your Hurricanes Radio Network. Our thanks, as always, to Rusty Helzer back in Master Control in Raleigh, and John Brockwell here in the booth with us. Coming up, Adam Gold will wrap this one up. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final goes to the Florida Panthers tonight as they get a 5-2 win over the Carolina Hurricanes. Adam Gold will wrap up this portion of our broadcast after this. You're listening to coverage of the Eastern Conference Final on the Carolina Hurricanes Radio Network.
Who wants to save up to $1 a gallon on gas with Harris Teeter fuel points? It's easy. Shop at Harris Teeter with your Vic card. Earn 1 fuel point for every $1 spent. Redeem your points for gas savings at Harris Teeter fuel centers in our partnering Amoco and BP gas stations. You can even check your fuel points in the Harris Teeter app. Get 4 times the fuel points when you shop on Fridays. Harris Teeter, in food with love.
Barbecue season is back. Hey, it's Ellen.
And this is Sarah Beth.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that zesty barbecue sauce. I love that it was a little sweet, a little tangy, and with the mac and cheese,
I feel like I tasted the brown sugar bacon first. It was the absolute best combination. Pro tip, 3 sandwiches are always better than 1.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
For almost a decade, the Hurricanes have trusted their t-shirt needs with Cardinal Apparel. Carolina Hurricanes alumni Shane Willis here to tell you Cardinal Apparel has expanded and relocated to better serve their clients across the state. Formerly known as Raleigh Screen Print, Cardinal Apparel will produce high-quality screen printing while working directly with customers. Don't waste your time online trying to order through third-party vendors. Save money and time working with Cardinal Apparel. Visit cardinalapparel.com to start your order today.
All right. Hey, it's Adam Gold, and I'm inside Lenovo Center wrapping up a 5-2 Florida win over the Hurricanes in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Carolina, to me, was really good the first, 8 or so minutes, all the way up until Sebastian Aho was sent to the penalty box for, I'm not really sure what, other than after the whistle, just being a hockey player. But it's a penalty you got to kill. Carolina wasn't able to kill. Maybe of all the goals allowed by Anderson tonight, the one that you go, that would have been nice to get. Carter Verhaeghe was allowed way too much time to get forehand to backhand to lift it up over, looked like it might have been short side, might have been over the glove side shoulder. That made it 1-0. And not too long after that, Jordan Stahl turns the puck over behind his own net. Aaron Ekblad scores through a screen by Scott Morrow, and Carolina's down 2-0. But Florida really did not generate any of their own chances in the effective part of this game because they didn't have to, because Carolina was just not sharp on the other end of the rink. Maybe the most telling play of the game for Carolina came very early. 2-on-1, Aho and Jarvis. Nico Mikkola, the defenseman, back for Florida. And Aho telegraphed the pass. He didn't even make Mikkola, honor the shot. He didn't make Sergei Bobrovsky honor the shot. Aho passed it across. It never got through to Jarvis. And Carolina's first great scoring chance went by the wayside. And that was it. We get to the third period, and it's